Do not adjust your radio dial. You are tuned in to the Mark Order Podcast. Join the Mark Order.
Oh, man. Oh, it's weird. I'm back. Hey, kids.
Who are you?
How's it going, kids?
Where's your dad?
I don't know you.
Now? Stranger danger.
I left money on the table. I just went out for some cigarettes and milk. I'm back.
You left us a $2 bill for 3 people.
Well, it's better than $1 for 2 people. It is 1 bill, but it is 2 American dollars. It's valid currency.
Well, apparently you spent all the money on that chain that you're wearing.
It's true.
I'm less concerned about the chain. What name is on your Ghostbusters jacket?
Oh, so I'll show you the jacket. The jacket's pretty sweet. It's the guy who designed it.
Okay.
But I'll show you.
That's not a Ghostbuster I know.
No, and it is what do they call it? It's not unofficial. It is like fan parody. You know what I mean?
So unlicensed.
It is unlicensed. Welcome, everybody. Hope you're doing fine tonight out there in YouTube
TV
world.
land.
It's Wednesday. You know what that means. Time for the Mark Order Podcast here on the Shining Wizards Network. Ryan's here. Asian Joe's here. And I'm here. I'm back, baby, from a long sabbatical. I did get bread and milk. I did not get cigarettes. So I might need to go back out for some cigarettes.
I've heard that
Burger King
before.
and some Newports.
Newports?
Mm-hmm.
I'll go get them. You need some Newports? Daddy needs Newports. I'll be right back. Excuse me. So, guys, what's new? It's been a while.
Been a while since I could say. Sorry.
Schlong, at least one person said they appreciate your background. Believe it or not, Mrs. Money. I appreciate Schlong's background. Mrs. Money, in the chat, do you actually know what's behind him? Because I had no idea what it was. Don't say it yet, Ryan. We'll give it up.
I want to know.
Watching. I had no clue. I even said, are you just basically stark white so that you stand out? But then I thought about that, and I'm like, it's like putting a glass of milk in front of a picture of snow. So it didn't work out. You're just so white, Ryan.
I am right like a diamond.
Okay. Wow, Mrs. Money with the Microsoft Edge.
Nailed it.
Congratulations.
Nailed it.
Congratulations.
I don't know if that's something you're proud. I don't know if I want to admit that I knew that.
Yeah, I had no idea, and it's sitting on my screen in front of me, the logo, and I was like, what is that?
Living on the edge.
Well, good to see you, gentlemen. So Schlong, you're sitting on the edge. How are things?
Good. I won't lie for anyone watching, listening. For 2 more innings, hopefully, only I will be distracted watching the Phillies, so I'm sorry already.
You have nothing to worry about.
I'm good otherwise. How was your cruise?
Ryan's like, I just don't want to talk so I can watch the Phillies. There was a time, Ryan, do you remember the one time you took a screenshot of yourself and then just left it up?
I think I have that still somewhere on here.
I mean, you need to take a new screenshot because you're in a different background.
That is true, though. It would be funny if I was wearing the same thing as my original screenshot.
I mean, there's a very good chance you're wearing the hat and at least a close colored shirt.
Yes, I don't have that much of a difference of of clothing.
Are you wearing a Phillies t-shirt?
No, it's a black T-shirt. I do have a Phillies shirt, but I didn't want to overdo it in case things went bad.
Joe, that's one of his cruise wear shirts.
It
Which one?
is.
The one he has now?
Yes. If you recall, Ryan and I did a show before he went on the
Wrong
cruise.
one.
And
I hit the wrong background. Oh no, I hit the right
Yeah,
background.
you guessed which color palette he would wear.
All
White
of
shirt,
them.
black
Every shirt. Gray, white, black, and I think a navy blue. And I think I was right on almost all of them except white. Ryan,
As
I
you can
think
tell,
you're
Ant, I'm
right.
very interested.
Yeah, he's interested. He's just listening. Yeah, Asian Joe, how are you?
Doing well. Just today's my Friday, so that's good. I'm off the next couple days.
That is good. Welcome to the good life, Asian Joe.
Well, I'm not going on a cruise or anything. I'm going to the majestic world of St. Louis, which is, the Bahamas west of the Mississippi.
Well, then I'm going to be going to the Bahamas of the West Mississippi in November. So I'll be in St. Louis in November with Mrs. Money. So that's going to be a quick in, quick out. Probably in on like a Friday night, out on a Sunday morning.
That's about enough time in St. Louis.
Yeah, that's what I heard.
Easy like a Sunday morning.
Who's talking? Ryan's very good at ventriloquism.
It's a skill.
I guess. Kyle K. Sparks checking in. Ryan, the Phillies are up 7-0 in the 8th. Assume they'll get the win, and God forbid they don't. You wouldn't have to watch. You wouldn't have wanted to watch the collapse anyway. That's a great point.
I agree, but also I disagree. So I'm watching them. I'm also going to say hello to 1LT Photo and to JPJ and to Joe Walsh and to Scott George. I'm all over saying hi. See, I'm paying attention.
Well, I got a lot of other stuff going on. Hi, 1LT Photo. 1LT Photo, I haven't forgot. You need to come on here because you got our sign on the show. Now that we are quote unquote all back, we'll have to get you in. So feel free to DM me and we'll work out the schedule.
Slide into those DMs.
That's right. And if you do slide into the DMs and I don't respond, just leave a tweet on my page like, hey, I DM'd you, because I don't always look at the goddamn things. Ryan, I'm going to start with the first question you had. What's on the jacket? So as I said, this is an unofficial item. It is a bomber jacket. It is looks like it's in the fashion of a Ghostbusters jacket. The name tag says Bull Airs because that's the name. I think the guy's name is Tom Bull, and his I don't know, company, whatever he calls it, Bull Airs. The
bullshit. Boom.
Jesus
Roasted.
Christ. It's got the little Ghostbusters thing on the side. It looks a little worn.
Was that their number from the movie?
I think it was. I also enjoy. There's a sleeve pocket. Looks like a trap here. A little caution.
It is. I just Googled it.
There's also some chenille patches here on the side. See his little logo with the no ghost. There's a trap here. There's also pink ooze. That's fun.
It says Spangler, doesn't it, on that?
Yes, but it's a Spangler Laboratory. 1987. Also, sponsored by Stay Pop.
Love it. I'm a big Ghostbusters guy too, Ant. So we're on the same boat.
Well, then, after the break, because I don't have them both here, and Joe, you're a sneakerhead, so you'll appreciate this. He did custom high tops for the Ghostbusters. He did 2 shoes. He did a flight suit and he did a Stay Puffed. And I have them, but I don't have them in this room. I'll get them after the break and show you. They're pretty awesome. They were way more expensive than I wanted to admit. But but they're nice. So, Schlong, you asked how the cruise was. Cruise was fantastic. It was beautiful weather. I heard the weather here was shitty, so I'm glad I wasn't here. Got some sun, so I tanned nicely, although I peeled first. And I'm a chain guy now, so I got the chain working. I went
He's
to
a
the
changed guy now, Joe.
Boom. I went to the gym 3 times on the boat, so I kept my
I think
punch
Joe
up.
just went to hit a soundboard thing for me, and it didn't work.
Didn't work. It's okay. We were just gonna keep going. We're gonna keep.
Oh
being
no, I called him out. I went with it.
Oh,
I
boy.
tried.
Asian Joe. See, that's Ryan. That's Ryan alpha dogging you. He's like, this guy isn't gonna get away with that shit.
Well, Asian Joe was more than willing to kick me off the show.
Who
For
said
sub-
that?
For subscribers, you want subscribers for the
Both of
YouTube
you
channel.
did, actually.
Yeah, I definitely said it. I was like, anything's on the table. I will say this though, we did get a number of people who subscribed through the day, and I even got a couple I saw over the last week when I wasn't here, when I re-entered cell service. I got a few of the alerts coming through. Thanks to all the new subscribers. We got to get closer to 500. I think we're in the high 380s now. So we're still a little bit away. You know what I say, guys? We could do a giveaway for 500.
Like what?
I don't know. I have some
Sure.
Let's think that one through.
not a shirt. I have some extra figures here. I have like an extra figure here, an extra set. Not a full set. Like I might have like an extra exclusive, like Walmart exclusive Adam Page that probably anybody can get. But I could
Can we
send you.
volunteer something from Kate since she's not here?
Sure, she'll give you a phone call, and she'll go on a date with you.
There you go.
Wow.
Anywhere in the country, wherever you are. You have to live in the contiguous United States, though.
Actually, no. You're going to go on a date with her in New York City. She'll fly you out personally.
I would rather her fly out.
Good point. I was just trying to get her to spend the money. Either way, I guess she's spending money.
Spending the money, yeah. So yeah, everything was good, gentlemen. We had a good time, and I arrived back home Sunday morning, so I was able to see Wrestledream. And do you guys know what the big news about Wrestledream was? I assume you do now.
It was all a dream.
This guy came back.
Where did you get that?
It's an Edge Bear. I'm sorry. It's a rated R superstar Adam Copeland bear.
Where did you get that?
I think, believe it or not, my brother subscribed or bought something in college. Like either, I don't know if he like ordered a pay-per-view online through the WWE or if he subscribed to something and they sent him this and he was like, I don't want it. And I was like, I'll take it. So now guess what? I've got the rated R superstar Adam Copeland bear. Yay.
I'm trying to think of a good pun. I can't think of any puns.
There's no puns. He's a great bear. His hair's a little crazy though, now that I'm looking at it. For those that with the benefit of flash photography, there's the Edge Bear. He looks great. He's still in great shape. Look at those pecs. Look at these pecs. Oof.
Those are some X.
The definition. He could use a better leg workout though. That's all I know.
Couldn't we all?
So guys, I saw that you did your show called Wrestledreaming or Our Wrestle Dreams last week. I had like a moment of cell service. Oh, Mrs. Money came with the pun. Sorry, guys. Very edgy. Schlong is clapping, but there's no noise. There's no noise, Schlong. There's no noise.
My mic doesn't pick me up. Doesn't pick me up by clapping.
Absolutely not.
That's
some
hilarious.
Powerful noise gating there.
Wow.
Hold on, and I won't do this a lot, but
No.
I mean, I'm literally right in front of it.
Turn the gate down, man, or learn to clap. Just like your hand motions. Oh, he still can't do it.
I mean, that's
You
phenomenal.
You had 3 weeks.
I mean, that is some really good background noise canceling.
You have to be able to adjust the gate. No?
I'm not going to because I have like a fan running and stuff. I don't want it to pick it up. But I mean, I'm literally
No, nothing. I shit you not.
that's hilarious.
Mrs. Money said it felt so sarcastic.
And the best part, it wasn't. Like I was doing the slow clap into the giant like applause.
You really were. It looked great, but it was if you weren't watching and you just heard the silence, you had no idea what was going on.
Oh my god.
So I saw that you guys did your Wrestledream show. And obviously I didn't get to see any of the shows last week. And I couldn't listen to you guys. I didn't get back into a cell area, and I wasn't paying for the goddamn Wi-Fi on the boat. Because I wanted to get, away. I thought I could
got the Wi-Fi when I was on a boat. I liked it.
No, fuck that. Do you know how many people I had to sit next to who are fucking streaming TikTok? I'm trying to relax on a fucking beach, and I got this old lady sitting there blasting TikTok. I'm like, shut
for me, it was for. Well, I got it in case of emergency, like because of other stuff, but it really was useful, like at night, if I needed to watch something just to like wind down. But absolutely not during the day when you're doing like when you're out.
You mean, Ryan, you didn't watch any of the weird sports you never get in the United States on their like Caribbean ESPN channel? Because let me tell you something, Ryan. I watched a lot of footy. You know what footy is?
Isn't that soccer?
Nope.
I got nothing.
Australian rules football. It was the Great Championship. It had some dumb fucking name. But yes, Aussie rules football, which is pretty much kill the man with the ball. Joe, you got it.
Aussie, boy,
Ryan, you're still having troubles. Wow.
Aussie.
Okay, JP Loves Gaming knows what I'm talking about. It was called the Grand Final. That is right. I don't know who.
How the fuck do you know about it?
I don't know who the teams were who was playing, but no pro wrestling podcast, not rugby, although we did get to see some of the Rugby World Cup. And I've watched rugby. I knew people in college who played rugby, very familiar with it. I was asked to play rugby, and I was like, I'm too much of a pussy to play rugby, so no thanks. I also
loved to play rugby.
I wasn't going to do that much running, so that was immediately the end of it. But if you guys have never watched Australian rules football, and then we'll get to wrestling, trust me. If you guys have never seen Australian rules football, there's all these lines on the field. I don't know what the fuck they mean, because there's no fucking rhyme or reason as to what the lines are. And then like they can't catch the fucking ball and hold on to it ever. Like I can't tell you how many guys I saw go to get the ball and it just fucking slides right out of their hands. And then they're throwing it forward, backwards, they're punching it. And then the only thing I gathered was you can kick it to each other to pass it down the field. And when one person kicks it, if the other guy catches it on the fly, then like they blow the whistle and the play stops for a minute. And it's almost like you have a free kick, like almost like in soccer, like the defender can stand at a certain point. But if you take too long, the referee's like play on and then you can just fucking go get them. And then you have to kick it between the posts to score. So you have 2 middle posts that are like field goal posts. That's 6 points. And then outside of each one of those are 2 shorter posts. Those are 1 point. So it also threw me off because the way they do the scoring is 3 columns. The first column is G, the second column is B, and then the third column is T. And it took me a while to figure it out. G is good, B is bad, T is total. So you had to do multiplication and addition to get the total fucking score if you want to know, and if you want to figure it out yourself. So the first column is whatever that number is times 6. plus the next number equals the total. So if it's 8 in the first column times 6, that's 48, plus 2 in the second column, that's a total of 50. Why? I don't fucking know. It was fucking wild. But I can tell you I did enjoy watching some of the shows about the cricket World Cup, because I genuinely do enjoy cricket. Cricket's fucking crazy fun. I thought it was so complicated compared to baseball. It's not. It's pretty easy to understand.
Was there any highlight?
No highlight. There was WNBA though. That's pretty foreign. Pretty foreign.
Bocce ball? You mean bocce ball?
No bocce.
Mm.
They did have a Red Bull channel, or all the Red Bull sports, where they did that thing where you make the airplane and then throw it off the thing into the water. I don't remember what that's called. Somebody in the chat will probably put it there. But that was pretty fun. And then it was very weird to watch the Sky Sports channel, because they were talking about American football at certain points, and you could just tell they had almost like no goddamn clue what was going on.
What's the most random sport you've done?
Like played?
Yeah, whether for fun or in the league. It's not like a traditional like baseball, football, soccer.
Well, I will just say this. Hari said the Cricket World Cup will start today. From today, India's hosting. Yeah, I have to get a hold of an ESPN Plus subscription, because I will legitimately watch about all those games. Last year's final was fucking wild. I'll say this, Joe. I haven't really played any far out sports, like in a league or anything like that. Honestly, if you're counting bocce ball as some weird fucking sport, I mean, I used to play that all the time at like family parties. A bunch of guineas get together, get the bocce balls out. It's a good time. Oh, Mrs. Money's right. I did play darts. I was in a dart league. That sucked. Congratulations, Ryan. Saw the fist pump. Now you can pay attention.
Over. 7-1.
I did curling for a couple of seasons.
I'd love to try curling.
That was pretty interesting.
Someone once told me.
Rode
horses?
No, like a boat.
Oh, rode. Oh, see, that's the Philly Asian Joe. Road and road. It sounds the same.
I have a roadcaster.
Hold on. JPJ is very bitter right now because where's his team? He's a Boston fan.
Well, he's an Australian football fan.
Yeah,
also a Boston fan.
Well,
so he's mad.
It's all right. We were right there with them. Some of these answers are pretty interesting. Pro Wrestling Podcast says pickleball.
I want to try that sometime.
It's fun.
Yeah, I have no problems with it. I just have to, I guess, try it. JP Loves Gaming said disc golf.
Cannot throw a frisbee for the life of me.
Oh,
really? I would love to.
I'm just terrible at it.
Tommy Cabot on Facebook says badminton. Never played in a league. I mean, I've played badminton. I sucked at it.
Like high school PE, I remember doing it. But
all right, Pro Wrestling Podcast. This can't be real. Medicine volleyball.
Yeah, that's
not a real thing.
That would break your wrist.
Hot dog eating count as a sport? Only if you eat them like Kate does.
No bites.
Sideways, and as many.
Oh, I know. I just.
JPJ Loves Gaming also says candlepin bowling. Are you guys familiar with candlepin bowling?
No.
Okay, I haven't done it. I have to do it next time I go to New England because it's only like a Boston, Maine, Mass thing. Imagine regular bowling, but with a bocce ball sized ball. And then the bowling pins are literally just straight sticks. And
you know what? I didn't know it until you described it, and now I have seen that.
But here's the thing, Ryan. Did you know that after you throw the first ball, they don't remove any of the pins?
No. Why would you remove the pins?
They're just in the fucking way now.
That's
I know
weird.
nothing about candlepin bowling living in the Midwest.
Well, guys, we have to have a sport weekend too, because I was just made aware of a place around here. Mrs. Money and I were traveling somewhere before a vacation. There's a town by us, Fairfield, New Jersey. Apparently, they have a cricket store where you can go get any cricket gear you need. But apparently, they also have what I would almost describe, I guess, is like a cricket batting cage. And I really fucking want to try this. I mean, I'll go by myself, but you guys are more than welcome to come.
And that cricket is I can't watch it because I don't understand it, so it's just too frustrating for me.
Ryan, I'm telling you the goddamn truth here. Watch it for like 20 minutes. You'll get it. Seriously, it's so easy to pick up. I used to think baseball was so easy to understand. And then after watching cricket, I was like, wow, baseball is so much more complicated than cricket. And I used to think it was the other way around.
Fair enough. Now, does a cousin trying to teach you a sport and you failing terribly count as having tried to play it?
Why? What did you try?
It's an Irish sport called hurling.
Oh, is that fuck?
With a stick and a ball.
Yes.
It's very violent.
I've heard of it. I've never tried it.
And I had a couple cousins try to teach me. And I mean, granted, I was in Ireland and I was never going to play it once I came back, but my coordination just wasn't there.
It's not like lacrosse, is it?
Kind of, except there's no net on your stick, so you're just hitting the ball forward.
Yeah, it's weird. It's weird. Yeah, I haven't done too many weird things, Joe. The weirdest, I guess I would say, is I played in a dart league, and it really showed me I thought I was good at math, but I can't do math that quick. So whenever they were like, we need somebody to keep score in 501, I was like, not me, because it'll take me fucking forever to triple things and subtract it. Nope.
Well, maybe your midlife crisis, you'll go really deep into cricket and like go all in, and that'll be your midlife crisis.
You just got to put the bat on the ball, or the whatever they call it. You just got. It seems like you just have to touch the ball and just angle it in the right place. So even if it's behind you, if you can angle it towards the barrier and it hits the barrier, it doesn't have to fly over. If it just hits the barricade, I think that's 4 points. If you fly over, I think it's 6. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe now I'm just thinking of fucking footy. Gordon Post says caber tossing. Schlong, are you familiar with caber tossing?
What the fuck is that?
I think that's where the guys, it looks like they're flipping a fucking telephone pole.
Oh, okay. Is that like Scottish sport?
I think so. Joe, Mrs. Money says that this podcast is my midlife crisis.
Fair point.
So no more hobbies. Anyway, we started talking about Wrestledreams, and I was trying to tell you guys that I thought maybe I was able to catch a moment where I had a signal, and I tried to download the show and listen to what you guys were talking about so I wouldn't be lost when I got home Sunday, but I didn't have a connection. So I just got home and ordered it, and then as the day was going on, saw the news of like, Darby Christian is going to headline this pay-per-view. I was like, oh boy, I see where this is going. So I was very hopeful for the event. Before we run through the results and talk about anything going on with Wrestledream, did you guys actually watch the pay-per-view?
I did.
I'm just asking.
When you asked that was like, we don't watch the pay.
No. No. Let me rephrase that, because the tone was not how it was meant. I want to know if you guys actually watched the show, because a lot of people were saying there's nothing here. There's no point in watching this. Like, there was a lot of chatter out there where people were like, I might skip it because it's not going to do anything for anyone. But this
I bought it based off of Brian ZSJ.
Well, that's because wrestling.
I do.
Fools if they skipped this show. Fools.
It was a fantastic. I thought it was a fantastic show, and I saw a lot of people after the show saying, maybe even before the Adam Copeland appearance, saying that they thought that this might be the best show they put on this year, and I would absolutely say this is up there for that. I thought it was fantastic.
This show was amazing.
And I was super surprised at the main event, how that played out, like the level of violence they got to. Let's run through the results really quick, and then we can go sort of touch on whatever you want to touch on. In the 0 hour, we had Athena, Keith Lee, Satoshi Kojima, and Billy Starks defeat Lee Moriarty, Mercedes Martinez, Diamante, and Shane Taylor. Also in the 0 hour, that was Claudio, right?
Yeah.
Claudio defeated Josh Barnett, and Josh Barnett was like, "You got my respect, but I'm gonna run this back." And Claudio was like, "Anytime, okay." And then we also had Luchasaurus defeat Nick Wayne. So then we had the Acclaimed and Billy Gunn defeat TMDK for the trios titles. And we get into the main show. We had the Ring of Honor Championship handicap match where MJF defeated the Righteous, friend of the Wizards, Vincent. Good to see him on the pay-per-view card. Eddie Kingston defeated Shibata. Chris Statlander defeated Julia Hart. The Young Bucks defeated the Lucha Brothers, Hook and Orange Cassidy, and the Guns to become the number one contenders for the AEW Tag Team Championship. Swerve defeated Hangman Adam Page. Ricky Starks defeated Wheeler Yuta. Bryan Danielson defeats Zack Sabre Jr., but there is some controversy as to if he's the best professional wrestler in the world. Will Ospreay, Takeshita, and Sammy Guevara defeated Kenny Omega, Jericho, and Ibushi with a little bit of hijinks. FTR retained the AEW championships against Aussie Open. And in the main event, Christian Cage defeated Darby Allin 2-1 in the 2 out of 3 falls count match. And of course, the big surprise at the end was Nick Wayne turning on Darby Allin. And then Adam Copeland, the Rated R superstar. What the hell? The Rated R superstar, Adam Copeland, showing up and, making the save. So, guys, I thought it was a fantastic pay-per-view, honestly, top to bottom. I saw a lot of people. I saw a lot of people sort of shit on the MJF match. Dude, I thought that match was a ton of fun.
I think the match was a lot of fun. I think his reaction afterward, his tweet where he imitated Hulk Hogan, was one of the funniest things I'd seen in a while. But the booking itself is questionable because you just built the Righteous up. This makes them look really bad. I am never a fan of this type of booking where one guy beats an established tag team who you're trying to put over as like a serious threat in any division. It just doesn't work for me. I really don't think Adam Cole. I think this would have been an easy way to get the belts off Adam Cole and MJF, and I think that would have been a better thing to do. I know they're likely building towards the Kingdom, but I didn't like to see the Righteous get done dirty like that. The match itself was fun. Like, I won't criticize the match itself. I had a good time. The slam moment. Like, MJF knows what he's doing. But, again, the booking is where I'm like, ugh.
Yeah, it wouldn't have been that hard to give MJF the win, like, with a DQ finish or something. I would have much rather have him win by DQ than in the team clean.
Yeah, that's true. Good point.
I mean, I think they also were trying to pivot, right? Because I think they thought Adam Cole was going to be able to wrestle, and he clearly can't. So I think it was seriously a pivot move. I think we're going to see the tag team championship come off of him sooner rather than later. and we'll talk about everything going on with Adam Cole and MJF as we talk about tonight. But I think we're going to see those belts come off much sooner than we would have if Adam Cole was, had a good ankle, right? So I don't necessarily fault him for that, Schlong. I just thought that the match was fun because it's not something we see AEW give us all the time, right? Like, like the stuff they used to do in the 80s, right? Like where, you'd have Hulk Hogan standing there doing the pump up, with his hands, like, I'm going to body slam you or I'm going to gorilla press you. And then he does it and the place goes wild, right? He does the same thing now with the kicks. He told, oh my God. He told, not Vincent. Who's the other one? I can't remember his name.
Dutch.
Thank you. He told Dutch he was going to body slam him, and then stick Vincent's head straight up his ass, and he did it, and it got a reaction. So I didn't mind the style of the match, and I'll give them a pass on the booking because I think they were literally just trying to not have to change this card, right? And what they were going to do. So I'll give them a pass with that. I also really enjoyed Eddie Kingston and Shibata. That was much better than I thought that was going to be.
Oh, that was a hard-hitting, fun match.
Yeah. That was a lot of fun. Did you guys see the Young Bucks becoming the number one contenders?
So this is where I'm putting my conspiracy hat, I know nothing hat on. I wonder if, because of the order of the show, the Young Bucks won. I wonder if Aussie Open was supposed to go over. And then the guy broke his wrist and said, I broke my wrist. And they adjusted on the fly. Only because of the injury, and it makes a lot more sense to have Young Bucks going against Aussie Open than FTR again right now. So I didn't have them winning, but as soon as they won, I'm like, oh, that might mean that Aussie Open's winning, and then that didn't happen. So I'm wondering if the injury played a role.
Joe, what do you think? Do you think this was always the plan, or would you rather have seen like the Hook Orange Cassidy move on?
So I thought Aussie Open were going to win this, and like Ryan, I thought maybe they called an audible during the match when Mark Davis destroyed his wrist. But I also thought Orange Cassidy and Hook had a shot because why you throw this random tag team together a couple weeks leading into Wrestledream if you don't have them, come up with a surprise win. So, but I thought it was going to be Aussie Open. I hope they come back around to that.
Yeah, and we'll talk about that match momentarily. But yeah, I really didn't think the Young Bucks were winning this match. I thought this match was going one of two ways. I thought it was going Hook Orange Cassidy, or I truly thought it was going to go to the Guns because they had the Guns look fantastic during this whole match. Like they were wrestling smart. They were really involved in a good majority of this match. So there was a time, I'd say midway through this match, I was like, fuck, they're going to give it to the Guns. And I would have been okay with it. I'm not a gun hater. So like, I think they're okay. Like, I think they've established themselves as a tag team. And now, they're part of the Bullet Club Gold. So like,
so you're saying you're pro gun?
I'm pro gun. I'm saying it here now. It is my right to bear Bullet Club Gold, and I'm pro gun. Pro guns. It's gonna be taken out of context, I bet.
Yes, that's why I'm remaining silent, letting that be very clippable.
I know. Well, we've clipped so much to date. Guys, I truly wasn't sure about this. I mean, the crowd was reacting the way you would expect them to Swerve. Did you guys think Swerve was gonna win this match?
Yep.
Joe, you're shaking your head. You always thought Swerve was gonna win this match.
Yeah, that was my prediction.
Okay, I didn't hear. I told you. So you did.
Yeah, I had Swerve win. He needed the win.
I don't disagree. But I feel like they do this with Hangman sometimes where it's like he'll go away and then he'll come back and he'll notch a bunch of wins and he'll get sort of pushed in this position. And then he'll lose and he'll disappear for 2 months and then he'll come back and it'll be the same thing. So I honestly didn't think Hangman was going to lose this match, but the crowd was so hot on Swerve that it's like, how could you not? They would have fucking burnt the place to the ground if Swerve lost. I mean, not really, but
Yeah, I mean, he granted he's in his hometown, which is always a huge thing. Well, though I hear it's not really his hometown, that he's supposed to live somewhere else, but still, I think people are just ready for him to be given the spotlight because he's just so good and he's been killing it so much. And this match showed just how good he is in the ring. Like this, I'm gonna be honest. I actually feel bad for him and Hangman because this match went on. And I was like, oh, I feel bad for everyone following him. And then Zack Sabre Jr. and Danielson did, and suddenly Swerve and Hangman had forgotten. I'm like, that was also like a classic match. Like,
yeah,
they were insanely good together. Huge win for Swerve. I hope this is the start of a real push for him. And again,
agreed.
shows just how good he is in the ring. He is as good as anyone in the ring, and he has the personality that also goes with it.
Well, we're jumping ahead a little bit, but they did announce tonight that next week we're going to get on Title Tuesday, which we didn't get a vote from everybody, but I have a feeling we're going to be doing our show Tuesday next week. So that way we're timely with the episode of Dynamite that is happening on the 10th Title Tuesday. But they are going to give us Swerve Danielson. I mean, that's a pretty good spot to be in if you're Swerve. Now, is he going to beat Danielson clean if he beats Danielson? No. There is the possibility Zack Sabre Jr. shows up and fucks over Danielson. So Swerve comes out with a win and a shot at the TNT title.
I don't love that I can already see the shenanigans coming because I don't see Danielson losing. I mean, not that Danielson wouldn't be willing to lose clean. I don't just see that being the booking. And Swerve can't lose. Like, what's the point of having Swerve beat Hangman if you have him come out and lose to Danielson 2 weeks later?
Well, because then you, my friend, set up Blackpool Combat Club versus Blackpool Combat Club. Because Phoenix next week on Title Tuesday is defending against Mox.
Oh, yeah, but I think Swerve, honest to God, at this point, let Phoenix beat Mox and let Swerve take it from Phoenix.
I don't disagree. We're getting way far ahead of ourselves. Either way, this fucking Swerve match was awesome.
Speaking of the BCC, what did you think of Mox on commentary for multiple matches?
I didn't have a problem with it. I thought it was funny after the first time he came out and cursed a bunch on YouTube when he came out and was like, I have to be careful what I'm saying because I've already been fined for my comments. And then he was just covering his mic and you could still hear him. And they were like, we have microphones, John. I thought it added something different. I mean, I didn't mind it, Joe. I think he was there because he was supposed to be on this card. And then he went into concussion protocol. So they were just trying to find a way to include him. I didn't mind it. Did you not like it? Did you like it? What do you think?
I didn't mind it. I know some people, I think, might have thought it a little much, but no, I like the fact that you get Mox in a different personality than his usual, snarling promo that he does backstage where he's, yelling and intense. This shows a little bit more comedic, personable side of Mox that we don't always hear from.
True. By the way, I have to correct myself. I'm thinking of the wrong title. In my head I was thinking TNT title, but I was talking international. Gordon Post and Kyle K. Sparks corrected me. The match next week with Danielson and Swerve is for TNT. Phoenix holds.
And I got a problem.
So
because then Swerve goes against Christian, and I don't want Christian losing the belt. So
you can't have Christian lose that belt.
I don't love that.
But you can have Christian lose to Danielson.
Even though, I wouldn't have Christian lose, period. I think he should hold the belt. Meanwhile, you have the international sitting there that clearly was not supposed to be on Phoenix to begin with.
No. The plan, I think, was supposed to be Moxley Shibata at Wrestledream.
Yeah, you have Swerve just sitting there, ready, willing, and able to take it. Just let go that route.
Also, Scott George says that Swerve is from Tacoma, so not Seattle. Still, I guess we'll take it.
It's
Also,
the same state.
Scott, well, it's just like, hey, Pittsburgh, Philly, same thing, right?
I'm pretty sure Washington isn't the size of Pennsylvania.
Well, same state, right, Joe? I mean,
name another big city in Washington. Name another big city in Washington.
Well, you've got Seattle, you've got Tacoma.
Tacoma's not that big.
Isn't it the capital?
Yeah, but the capital of New Jersey is Trenton. Like, come on.
I mean, it's a capital.
Yeah, but it doesn't mean it's a big city.
I mean, come on, Joe. My logic's sound, right? Tacoma, Seattle, Philly, Pittsburgh, same states.
Yeah, I think Ryan's taking it a little bit personal.
Of course,
it's only got 200,000 people there. We're at.
Also, Scott George is right. I do support the Second Amendment, the right to bear arms. Sun's out, guns out. Which way of the bathroom? Over there. All right, moving on. Starks and Wheeler Yuta was good. I don't have too much to say about that. Danielson, Zack Sabre Jr., I think, lived up to the hype. I really enjoyed this match, and I really enjoyed the fact that after the match, Zack Sabre Jr. wouldn't shake hands. So clearly there's still a problem here. And we're going to get a rematch somewhere down the line. Tommy saying Olympia is the capital of Washington.
Tacoma and Seattle are a half an hour from each other.
Okay.
So
you asked the question.
I'm saying that they're the same thing. I was not the one differentiating.
Joe, feel free to back me up here. I don't mean to put you in an awkward position, but you are a part of this show. You're not a guest, so you can make a stand here. Did Ryan not say, well, I don't think Swerve is really from Seattle, so blah, 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 blah?
Well, no, that's not what I meant. He moved away once he was like 2.
I mean, that's how it goes for everybody. Joe Biden moved out of Scranton. They still fucking claim him. I don't mean to. I'm getting very political tonight. I'm talking about Joe Biden, the fucking Second Amendment and bear arms, and fucking.
But in the show, you're the Speaker of the House.
He moved to Frankfurt, Germany, when he was 2 months old to live on a military base, and they're calling him from Tacoma. That was my point.
Not his choice.
No, but then he didn't even move back to Tacoma. He moved to Pennsylvania.
He's my point with
son. I'm just saying, like, that was my point, was that he was there for 2 months. Like, it's not really his city.
Whatever.
I'm just saying, that was my point, not the size of Tacoma as a tiny town.
Clarifying question for Ryan. If you were wrestling, what city would you be booked from, that would be hailed from? Would you say Philadelphia then?
If I trained out of there. If not, no, I would choose something in South Jersey, wherever I trained from in South Jersey.
No, where's your hometown?
Well, I would pick one big. I wouldn't pick exactly my hometown. I'd pick like one of the big ones around me.
So you'd say Philly. So it's the same thing.
No, I would pick Jersey.
Okay, so
I've lived here my entire life. That's my argument. If I moved out of here when I was 2 to California, I wouldn't be living in Jersey as my hometown.
What's he gonna say? Hailing from a fucking
no, he then moved to Pennsylvania.
Where in Pennsylvania?
Mount Joy.
Yeah, who the fuck's gonna say Mount Joy? You'd sooner say State College. I don't even know.
My point being is 2 months in Tacoma does not.
I know where Ryan would just say parts unknown because he doesn't know how the fuck to do it. He's like, where the fuck am I from? Parts unknown. That's answers everything.
I would say Jersey.
So just from New Jersey?
From the great state of New Jersey.
You better not talk then, because people hear it and be like, "Yo, he's not from New Jersey."
No, they'll know exactly what part of New Jersey I'm from.
Yeah, the Philadelphia part.
Yeah, I don't have that New York accent up North Jersey.
North Jersey. I can tell you one thing: there is no central, regardless of what
It doesn't exist.
the governor said. It does not exist. So guys, ZSJ Danielson, Scott George saying Brian got out wrestled. Do you agree with that?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Point, counterpoint. Point, Ryan, we're going to start with you. He did not get out wrestled.
He matched Zack Sabre for everything, so I don't know how you would consider being out wrestled. I wouldn't say he outperformed Zack Sabre. I would just say they performed well together and matched each other's level.
Counterpoint, Asian Joe, he
Take
did get
away-
out wrestled.
As you're going with the storyline, take away the strikes and some other stuff that wasn't the technical grappling part. Then Zack Sabre Jr.
Are we doing this in kayfabe?
Well, I'm just saying Zack Sabre Jr. was like way more fluid and technical in the ring than Brian was.
Are we doing this in kayfabe? Because if we're doing this in kayfabe, I'll say who won the match.
Who won the match?
I believe that was Bryan Danielson.
I
Which
like
means
the
he was a
argument.
better
I like
wrestler.
the argument that and that other people have made. And I think even one of the co-hosts who's not even on the show right now made about how Brian was the better professional wrestler, while Zach was the better technical wrestler.
But that doesn't mean that Brian got out wrestled. He could have been out technicaled. And I don't even know if I agree with that.
Do you guys think either one of these people would have beat Zack Sabre Sr.?
No, you can't fuck with Senior.
Nobody fucks with the senior. Joe, senior, junior?
I mean, yeah, you have to go for the OG.
All right. So I think that's something that we can all agree on, is that Zack Sabre Sr. is probably the best technical wrestler and brawler combined compared to those two. Well, the debate rages on because I think we're going to get a second match between these two at some point. Sounds like they both want it.
Yeah, I thought Zach was going to win the match, and then when he didn't, it's like, yeah, you're going to have a rematch now because Daniel's going to have to put him over.
Going to have to pass the torch at some point. He's going to do like his quote unquote farewell dream tour, right, over the last year, but you're going to have to put someone over on the way out, to your point, Joe. And he will, Zack Sabre Jr. will get his win at some point. So, Don Callis family match was fine. I don't need to dig too deep into it. I think we all sort of thought it was going to go that way. FTR Aussie Open, since we did talk about Dunkzilla Davis breaking his goddamn wrist. Ryan, I take that as a sign of aggression that you won't do their hand signal the right way.
I'm doing it right.
As if to say, I have two working wrists and I still refuse to do it.
This one barely works. I broke it a lot as a kid.
Well, that's...
There's a joke in there somewhere.
Okay, there is. I'm just going to...
No, I'm right-handed. The right hand is good and strong.
Oh, okay. That's why that forearm looks like Popeye, huh?
Yeah.
All right.
No, I broke my left one a lot.
It's got that one Popeye arm. Did you ever see that M. Night Shyamalan movie about the pool water or the whatever that fucking one was? There was one guy who stayed at that fucking motel who had one giant arm because it's all he would work out. That's what Ryan looks like. Lady in the Water. Was that the movie?
I am's what I am's.
He's got the same eye too. Actually, I kind of have the eye. Anyway, FTR Aussie Open. I thought the match was really good.
Yeah, match was incredible. It's a shame that the what's his name broke his wrist.
Yeah, because he was hurt not too long ago, right?
Yeah, he just got back. And
yeah, I like their chemistry together. I feel like Aussie Open could be added to the list of other, classic rivals that FCR has, like the Briscoes, the Bucks, the Lucha Brothers. Like some of those matches they've had. So hopefully, run it back when everyone's healthy, and we'll correct the outcome.
Well, we'll see. And then Christian Cage, Darby Allin, 2 out of 3 falls. What I liked about this, gentleman, and please tell me if I'm completely off base here. I loved the acceleration of violence through the falls, right? So Christian loses the first fall. He's apoplectic. I played ape. He's apoplectic that he lost that first fall. And then he starts to escalate the violence, right? I can't believe the stair spots that they did. I legitimately thought Darby fucking broke his fucking back when he did the body slam botch thing on the fucking steps. I can't believe they did that. And then as soon as he went off the top rope to do the frog splash on the stretcher, I was like, oh, he's fine. He's good enough to keep going. But we rarely see the exposed boards. I was very pleased to see that, if you could say you're pleased to see things like that. But I liked that. And I may be in the minority here. I liked Nick Wayne turning on Darby. He never really got over the fact that Darby was able to reconcile with AR Fox so quickly. And I know that whole thing was a fucking mess because AR Fox didn't tell anybody he didn't have a fucking passport. But like that made sense to me because that was never resolved, right? You could sort of see that Nick Wayne never really got over that. I'm assuming at some point we're going to find out what this, situation's all about between Nick Wayne and Christian. All I know is that Nick Wayne's mom did not look like she approved, but she'll come around. Zaddy Christian, you can't resist. And then obviously the main, the big news surprise was Adam Copeland showing up. And we'll talk sort of separately about Adam Copeland, a number of things that came out shortly afterwards. Plus, in news and notes later, we have a couple extra little bits. But I like this match, and I wasn't really sure what the outcome was going to be until you saw this was going to, close the show, right? Then I kind of knew, like, oh, Christian's going to hold it. But I liked the escalation that they had through this match. I liked the turn. I liked everything they did. Christian doing some of the best work of his career, man. What he's doing is one of my 2 favorite things happening in AEW right now. The other one we're going to we'll talk about when we get into Dynamite. I can just tell you one thing. The other thing I love, it is a timeless story. So I like this match a lot. Now, do you guys, if there wasn't the appearance of Adam Copeland, do you think this still should have main evented the pay-per-view?
No.
What would have? Zack Sabre Jr., Bryan Danielson.
Yeah, that's the one they promoted heavily as the dream match. So,
sure. Do you think, though, being put in the spot it was in, it lived up to being a main event match?
The match was good. The match was really good.
Go ahead, Ryan. Go ahead.
The match was really good, and the surprise has to be last. So those 2 things taken together, yes. Let me say this. The match wasn't a disappointment. It wasn't the best match on the card. It wasn't, I even know, if top 3 on the card. But it was still a very, very good match. And that stair spot was good enough that it overshadowed whatever else they put on. But the Copeland spot alone makes it worthy of main event. Like, that couldn't happen in the middle of the card.
No, absolutely not. No. Joe, what was your point going to be? Because it got a little. You both jumped in at the same time. My apologies.
I was just thinking with the way that the spots were and the pacing of that match, and the fact that it was 2 out of 3 falls. I mean, it had a lot of ingredients that you would want for a main event. So I was okay with it, even if there was no Adam Copeland.
Okay. Well, Adam Copeland coming in certainly does add a layer to the whole story. We do find out tonight, sort of where he's going now that he's, part of AEW. But what we did find out after his debut was in the media scrum. It was announced by Tony Khan, so that everybody probably knows by now, but he is a full-time contracted, uh, you know, wrestler with AEW. He will be there weekly. He will be wrestling. This week alone, we knew immediately afterward he was going to be appearing tonight. He will be there Saturday at Collision. He will be a Collider. And then next Tuesday, he is making his in-ring debut against Luchasaurus. So we did find that out, which I thought was refreshing, right? Because he clearly could have been like, yeah, I don't want to do this every week, blah, blah, blah. But it seems like he's ready to jump in. He pretty much said in so many words without me reading a whole transcript, said that he wanted to contribute at this point in his career. He wants to help. And he said he feels really free, and he told the story about his vignette that they played, the pre-taped piece with the muscle car, how he went out and helped film it and was basically holding on to a cameraman hanging out an SUV window, and he was just cackling the whole time. Like he was just having so much fun doing this stuff. So he seems super excited to be there. And he even said that, quickly glancing at a list and talking to Tony, there were like 14 names that he was already interested in, like wrestling, or putting his hands on. He said specifically, in my 30 years plus as a wrestler, never fought Samoa Joe. Never been in the same ring as Sting, and he was in the ring as with Sting in his debut on Sunday. He had never met Kenny Omega until that night as well. So this is all super new, and I think that is really exciting, not only for us, but it's got to be exciting for him. And in the media scrum, you really felt that vibe from him, which was nice. I thought, you want that enthusiasm. You don't want to have somebody just be like, yeah, they're paying me great, so I'm here. You know what I mean? Like, it just, go ahead.
He was contracted to wrestle 10 matches in his last year at the WWE.
Yep.
So he's gonna surpass that in 2 months.
Yeah, I mean, he says that he wants to wrestle. And he wants to end his career sort of with Christian, right? And then we'll find out more about that later, right? So we'll dig into that a little deeper. But it seems to be a good place for him right now. Go ahead, Schlong, go ahead.
I think one thing I've learned from Danielson, even Punk, before he lost his brain, or
Yep.
Christian, or a couple of these, is that these guys who, but really, I would say, or Saraya, any of them who've come back after, for one reason or another, forced retirement. Punk's obviously the unique. They want to wrestle. Like, they don't come back to only do 10 matches. Like, they are invested. Now, that's not to say he couldn't have negotiated with WWE to do more. I think he realized at that point, you've been in a company that long, it's not a knock on either side that you're kind of like capped out of what you can do there, because you've just been there far too long to it didn't also hurt that best part of Christian's run is coming right as Edge freed up. So that was nice little listen, look what we're doing with your boy over here. He's having the time of his life. The funny thing is, I just want to say that the fireworks that went off in his video was purely accidental. They said they just happened to be filming it when the Seattle Mariners set them off.
Yeah. Yeah. He said
that's just good timing.
He was actually asked in the media scrum for the bit of it that I was awake for. I was up for his segment, and he basically was asked hey, anybody in this room would have broken the news, to be the first to say you were in town for this, and it was kept a really well, secret. Like, how did you keep it so well kept? And he basically was like, I was in town. I was in Washington from Friday. And he said, they went out, he talked to Darby about places to film, the segments that they did with the car. And he said they were out from 9 to midnight shooting the car stuff. And then he basically sequestered himself in his hotel. And he said the only time he ran out, and I'm sort of condensing the story, but the only time he went out is he wanted to get a hamburger. So he took his book. He said he takes a book when he goes out. He took a book. He went to get a burger somewhere and sat in a corner. And he said there was like one kid at one point noticed him and just kind of like and pointed to him, and he just like was like shh, quiet. And the kid was like, yeah. It's like he only apparently got recognized like once. They kept it a really good secret that he was in town. But yeah, Ryan, you're absolutely right. It was just a chance that they caught the fireworks at the right time.
Yeah, but he also he loves, like, he's one of these guys that you've heard about, like, back in the day with his podcast that he had with Christian. Like, they love to talk wrestling. They have great wrestling minds. I will say the thing that scares me is apparently he did write his own promos in WWE, and his promos for a part of that run were not great. They were a little long. However, that was also during the Judgment Day era, and I don't think that was made for him. Like, I know it was, but like, I'm also saying, like, that's not the kind of group he should have been running at that point in his career.
Sure. Well, he also did say in the scrum that he was asked about Beth, and if it's a possibility that she comes to work, and he kind of was like, don't count it out, but not right now. And he said something to the effect of like, anything you'll see or hear from me, no doubt I bounce it off Beth. So hopefully, Ryan, he's got a good sounding board now. And maybe we won't get as many of those promos.
Though Tony from the Shiny Wizards hates friendships in wrestling, I'm all about a good wrestling friendship.
Yeah. I mean, listen, the stuff that he did with Christian in the WWE, for those of you with the benefit of flash photography, that shit was fantastic. It was so great. I don't have a problem with this, and then putting it into the storyline, and we will talk about it when we get into the next half. We're getting there, trust me. But yeah, Ryan, I'm with you. Like, I don't have a problem with this with that at all. It was also fun. After this, Beth Phoenix put up a picture of a note on her fridge, and it just said B, going out to walk the dog, be back in a few, and at the bottom was signed A. And where he put like walk the dog, be back in a few, he capitalized the A, the E, and the W, so it all spelled the AEW out vertically. And all Beth captioned it with was "My God."
But where are the dogs?
Listen, that's a hell of a walk to take your dog.
I want the dog.
But also, he also put something out that I think is worth sort of reading through. It's a quick thing. He put it out on X. I've made the jump. It's X now. That's right. It's Degeneration X. And he put this out. He said, from the desk of, as some of you may now know, I'm no longer with WWE. My new home is AEW. I'm excited. Whole new roster. Some familiar faces that I wanted to work with again, and a whole set of first ever matches. New challenges, and if you followed my career, you know that's what I've always been driven by. But first and foremost, I want to address my 25 years with WWE. I love WWE and appreciate everything the company did for me. Always have, always will. They put me on the map, gave me amazing opportunities, and through hard work on both ends, I've been supplied with a wonderful life. Hell, WWE helped me meet the woman I'd start my family with. Sometimes relationships just grow apart, and I feel the WWE and I have just outgrown each other. I wanted to do more. They didn't have much more for me to do. Simple as that. And that's okay. I'll still be watching and still supporting all of my friends there. I don't buy into the odd mentality of one company or the other. It's weird. If you took offense to that, take a walk, get some fresh air, and soak up the sunshine. It's wrestling. An amazing gig, but still it's wrestling. Relax. It's supposed to be fun. And it's just a segment of the fans, not most fans, and definitely not the performers. Within the industry, we all know that more choices is better for everyone and pushes us all to be better. As a wrestling fan, which I still am, it's exciting that there's viable companies providing wrestling on national and worldwide platforms. If you're actually a fan of wrestling and not acronyms, that should make you happy too. I guess what I'm trying to say is this. If you've appreciated my work, you still can, no matter what the initials are, because I'll still be busting my ass every time I'm out there. The ride isn't over just yet. Just try to have fun like it should be, because trust me, I'll be having fun every time I'm out there in an AEW ring. Let's go. I thought that was a really good, a nice little bow on, like, thank you to the WWE for everything they did for me. But it's true, like, they just didn't have anything more for him, and it seems like there's way more meat on the bone for him here. He gets to work with one of his friends again. Sorry. Hey, Jesse Ozog. Nice to see you again, pal. So good to see you. So I thought that was a nice way for him to sort of put a bow on everything and also give a little reality, right? Like, watch what you watch, enjoy what you're going to watch. Don't worry about the letters. It's true. I don't watch WWE because I don't enjoy it, right? If you want to enjoy it, that's fine. I'm just not going to waste my own time. But you got to do what you love, right, Ryan?
Do what you love, and you'll never work a day in your life. But yeah, no, don't. If you don't like something, don't watch it. If you're gonna watch something, at least try to enjoy it. I get not that something may go in there that doesn't make you happy, but I don't understand hate watching. I also don't understand judging people for watching something you don't like. Like, both things are it's okay, guys. It's just entertainment.
I don't like the Phillies.
Joe, get the fuck out.
Oh, come on, don't do that. Ryan, you're on the verge of getting kicked off this show to get more subscribers, so you better watch it.
Should we add that
Freighters.
friend of the program, Chris Mueller, was able to confirm that Beth had a role in Adam's theme?
Yeah, she did the You Think You Know Me.
I'm sorry.
No,
Him.
Him.
You think you know him?
Oh, it was him? I didn't.
Mm-hmm. They changed it up a little bit.
So I did a little bit of looking into this. So first of all, for those who may not have seen, Rated R Superstar was no longer trademarked by the WWE. It is open for him to use. They let it expire because he was leaving the company. I just don't get it. If you think he's leaving, you probably should just keep it, right?
That's when I would want it more.
Right. So whatever, he gets that. The music, he's good friends with Alter Bridge. And he said even in the WWE, he asked Mark Tremonti, not only of Creed fame, but Alter Bridge fame. He asked him if he could use the music. They said, sure thing. WWE didn't own the music. So now coming over, he asked again. They said, sure thing. The only part of the theme that was created in the WWE was the opening that said, you think you know me. So the only thing they had to work around was that. And the only thing you got to do, change one itty bitty word. And it was from me to him. What a great workaround. Only in America.
God bless our country.
Gotta love it. By the way, just to put a bow on everything, we mentioned some of the injuries before. Darby Allin was getting x-rays because his arm was in a sling in the media scrum, clearly from the fucking stair spots, excuse me. So looks like Darby may be hurt. We already talked about what's that?
I wonder why.
Yeah, trust me, I know. Mark Davis snapped his wrist, so he is also hurt. We talked about that. And the one that a lot of people were not 100% sure on was Rey Fenix. Rey Fenix did wrestle tonight, so the shoulder issue in the four-way match that he was facing was, I believe, purely storyline. He was not really injured, and he wrestled tonight too. So looks like those were the major injuries that happened during that pay-per-view. Pretty good. Pretty good.
Pretty good.
Well, guys, Wrestledream was a dream. And they're going to do it again next year. So hopefully they can live up to the same caliber of show. And I look forward to it. What I look forward to for us is we're going to take a short break. Asian Joe, Schlong, I'm going to go grab those shoes just so I can show you. It's a close look on the jacket and Ghostbuster talk. And then we are going to come back and talk about the fourth anniversary of Dynamite on television, and the fallout to Wrestledream episode of Dynamite, and what some people are calling the dawn of the rated R era in AEW. Whatever. Here in AEW. So stay tuned. We're going to play some words from some of the other shows that are part of the Shining Wizards Network, and we will be right back. Nope. We'll be right back.
We'd like to thank each and every one of you for tuning in every Monday night to listen to The Shining Wizards. If you'd like to continue to support us outside of listening, we've got a few ways for you to do that. If you shop at Amazon, go over to amazon.shiningwizards.com, do your shopping as usual, and when you make your purchase, a little bit of that purchase price will go back to support the show. If you like to wear t-shirts, merch.shiningwizards.com will take you to our Pro Wrestling Tees store, where we've got over a dozen great designs from over 11 years of professional wrestling podcasting. You can become a Patreon supporter at patreon.com/wizardspodcast, where each and every week we call out your name as one of our show producers, and the more you support us, the more things that you're entitled to receive, and believe me, they are fantastic. If you can't support us monetarily, if you don't shop at Amazon, that's absolutely fine. Continue to listen to us wherever you listen to us on the World Wide Web, and make sure you like, rate, review, subscribe, do all that good stuff. Doesn't cost you anything, helps us out, and we can continue to bring you the love fest that is The Shining Wizards.
What's up, folks? It's your boy, the Impact Player, Mr. Philly Ray, inviting all of you to check out the Turnbuckle Throwbacks, a wrestling podcast. Join us as we cover all things current in the world of pro wrestling, as well as paying homage to the old school, the squared circle. So listen in and find out why we are the recognized symbol of excellence in sports entertainment broadcasting. Find us on all social media platforms and anywhere you get your podcast from. And as always, we are the proudest members of the Shining Wizards Network and Rant Entertainment Media.
Are you tired of being lied to every day by the mainstream media?
Do you want to know what's really going on in the world?
Do you want to make up your own mind about things, not be told what to think or say?
Then listen to Inconclusive Breakdown, a weekly anti-PC look at the world of entertainment and current events, brought to you without censorship or filters.
You can find us everywhere you listen to podcasts, BitChute, and on ShiningWizardsNetwork.com.
And also, we're a proud member of the Shining Wizards Network.
Got 30 minutes to kill? Come check out 30 Screams or Less, where we review a horror movie in 30 minutes or less. We cover new movies and old ones too.
We'll give our honest thoughts on the movie, good or shit, as well as a rating of each one that we watch.
New episodes weekly, available on the Shining Wizards Network and wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts.
I'm Steve.
And I'm Corey.
Come check us out at 30 Screams or Less.
G'day guys, my name is Thomas, one half of the Broadcast Podcast. With our podcast, we go back and watch wrestling events from WWE, WWF, WCW, ECW, AEW, and many other wrestling promotions. You can check us out on Twitter at The Broadcast, that's TheBrokast, and you can also download all episodes on Apple Podcasts, Castbox, Castro, and many other podcast apps.
You like your music heavy? Then check out Radioactive Metal on the Shining Wizards Network. For over 16 years now, Radioactive Metal has been one of the longest running podcasts. Over the years, we've interviewed some legendary metal acts, had some awesome discussions, and cranked a hell of a lot of tunes. So join your cool Uncle Snowy and his co-host Aaron for the audio mosh pit that is Radioactive Metal here on the Shining Wizards Network. What's up, everyone? When on the Shining Wizards Network, be sure to check out Wrestling Night in Canada. If we're not recording another kick-ass podcast,
Or playing in punk bands.
Or recording kick-ass heavy metal albums.
then we're sitting back, we're grabbing a couple brews and going over everything to do in the world of pro wrestling.
Because we're from Winnipeg, you idiots.
The Mark Order Podcast is the only show you need if you're looking for dedicated coverage of everything AEW on the Shining Wizards Network. Join us live on YouTube every Wednesday night at 10:15 p.m. Eastern after Dynamite to chat along with the show. If you can't join us live, listen to us on your favorite podcast platform. Follow us on all social channels at Mark Order Pod and use the hashtag #JoinTheMarkOrder, because if you don't find us,
We will find you.
I'm Kevin Rowe.
I'm Al Day.
And we're a couple of down under pounders that co-host Rogue Day Dots, an action figure collecting podcast where we talk about, well, just about anything that tickles our fancy at any given moment.
We're grumpy old men, and sometimes people get on our nerves. And if you get on our nerves, guess what? You get off the lawn.
We also go on a little bit of a mission. We go back and we're grading every wrestling figure line that's out there. I'm talking LJNs. I'm talking Jacks. I'm talking Hasbros. Who doesn't like a little Hulkaplex? It's a Gorilla Brain Wrestling podcast production found on the Shining Wizards Network.
I'm Duke Bags.
Kevin Rowe.
And together we are the co-hosts of Year of Duke and Road. If you want to hear about some terrible wrestling shows, we got you covered.
Well, we talk about good ones.
We're currently talking about the death of WCW.
I know what we're fucking talking about. Sometimes we get guest spots, like from the Taskmaster. I like to listen to the Year of Duke and Road podcast. They're funny guys. That I like when they talk about the Nards plows. I like Nards plows. That's a good move. And I like the Dungeon of Doom. You know, sometimes I call my butt the Dungeon of Doom. Thanks, guys.
Oklahoma.
Let me tell you a little bit about my favorite podcast. All right. It's a podcast for two men. Duke Bags, Kevin Rowe. They talk about professional wrestling. It's a man's sport. All right? And who better to talk about a man's sport than Duke? Oklahoma.
And once in a while, Vince Russo stops by.
Oh, you piece of shit. If you're not listening to your Duke and Road podcast in the back with the boys, you piece of shit, I don't know what you're doing. It's, you gotta slide one in there. If you're a man, you're talking about something your man can talk about slide one in there. Bro, take the time to slide one in there. All right, bro, you piece of shit. Slide one in there. A Gorilla Brain Wrestling podcast production that you can find on the Shining Wizards Network.
All right, we're back here on the Mark Order Podcast. And we want you all to make sure to follow us on our socials at Mark Order Pod, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook. And give us a subscribe, like, get alerts on our YouTube page, which you can also find youtube.com/MarkOrderPod. So make sure you're subscribed so you can catch all of our weekly shows, go back and see the archives, all that kind of stuff. The other thing, if you're so inclined, you can support us by heading over to our Pro Wrestling Tees store, where you can pick up one of our fine t-shirts. We've got 4 designs up for sale, and you can find a link directly in any of our social platforms in our link tree, or you can go to prowrestlingtees.com/MarkOrderPod, or just search the Mark Order Podcast on Pro Wrestling Tees. Money you spend there does come back to this show to help us out. So if you'd like to support us, please pick up a t-shirt. All right, gentlemen. Before we broke, I told you I was going to go grab those shoes. And I certainly did. So let me show you.
I forgot. I was like,
No, I did almost get derailed. I did not. So this box, even though they're Ghostbuster shoes, looks like the Turtle Wagon.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's not Ghostbusters at all.
No, but the box wasn't supposed to be themed. It's just the shoes inside. So, as I mentioned, there are 2 shoes that he did, and this is the flight suit shoe, Joe and Ryan. So these came out pretty sick. Little keychain. It's got the strap here. Looks like the elbow pads on the back. Logo. Also the name tags here. So this says Venkman, but they're removable, and I have all. They came with all 4, so I can change up the shoe. And I still got the paper in here, like I didn't take anything out, but the insole's even custom artwork. So these were pretty dope.
I like it.
I haven't really dipped into the custom shoe game, so this is my first dip. Likely my last. These were not cheap, and I don't mean to say that to sound like a dick, but like they seriously were.
Your AntMoney, come on.
All right, well,
Live the gimmick.
It's a good point. So the other shoes here. The box is also retro.
Ooh, My Pet Monster. Nice.
Yep. There's Beetlejuice and Predator. Some turtles on the side. Even Skeletor and the Toxic Avenger. See? Good stuff. So these ones also custom gigs. These are the Stay Puffed variants. So it's got tie here.
He looks angry.
Yeah. And it's got the trap. These are like all rubber, like, inserts. And then same thing here on the inside. It's custom artwork there too, but you can't really see it through this camera. So these are pretty sick, and it has the Nike swoosh that looks like, you can't really tell here, Joe, but it's a Nike swoosh that's like marshmallowy.
Yeah, it looked kind of like glazed over.
Yeah. So these came out pretty dope. I was really happy about these. I ordered them like 6 months ago, and they just got here, I don't know, like the beginning of this month or beginning of September.
Now, when are you going to bust them out and put them on feet?
Oh, I like what you did there. Bust them out.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't necessarily I'm very nervous about wearing these.
Or as we in the sneaker world would say, unds them.
Unds them? What does that even mean?
DS is dead stock. So unworn new pairs that are just left in the box.
Yeah, I mean, I'll tell you the truth, Joe. The option of getting these to dead stock wasn't an option because there was no way to get a pair to rock and a pair to stock.
Right.
Way too much. Now I could dead stock one of each shoe because I could mix and match.
I wonder if you're going to do that, if you're going to be bold enough to do that.
I could. And there was the option to buy one of each shoe. But I was like, no, I need full pairs. I don't know, Joe. That's a great question. If I was going to New York Comic-Con or something like that, I'd probably wear the flight suits. I don't know if those Stay Puffs are ever going to see the daylight because I'm afraid, and I'll scuff them immediately.
Yeah. I mean, sometimes those shoes are artwork, as just it can be an art piece by itself.
Yeah, Mrs. Money for one of my birthdays found somebody who literally paints on Nike slides and got them to do a custom Slimer slide for me. Now my feet are too big to fit in them anyway, but even if I could, and they're the correct size, she made sure to give him my right size, but the Nike slides are way too narrow. Even if I could fit in them, I probably wouldn't because those are completely custom hand painted, things. Yeah, I don't know what I'm going to do with these, to be honest. I don't know.
I don't know. I like.
Yeah, that's why sneaker culture doesn't work for me. I would want to wear them.
I mean, I do want to wear them, but I'm very nervous about ruining them.
I'll have to send you guys a photo of my shoe room.
I would love
room.
Yeah, it's my spare room is like it's my shoe closet.
My God, Joe. My God.
Ryan, this closet is full of jackets. You know, like my chalk line collection and stuff like that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I know you have like your shit everywhere.
Yeah, I don't have like a room, but if I could, I certainly would have a number of what I have on display. But I don't. Anywho, let's talk about Dynamite. And I'm going to say this right off the bat. For a 4th anniversary episode and for a fallout from a good pay-per-view, I personally felt like this episode was pretty flat and there were a lot of fuck-ups on the production. So,
well, fuck-ups on the TV side.
Well, I mean, the scheduling on, you know, like the cable providers having the wrong times and shit, like that's, I don't understand how that happens. That's just completely fucked. Like, I didn't know about it, and then I got home and I was looking for something on the DVR, and I was like, Dynamite from today? And I just turned it on, and it was 4 fucking hours of that fucking geek show, The Big Bang Theory. So
yeah, that show's on a lot.
Either way, I want to say that now because I didn't think this was necessarily a great episode. I thought it had great moments. But still, a lot of bullshit. So let's start right off at the top where we should. Show opens up where they're hyping up the card, and then they go to the Ravishing. Whoa. See, first time back, I'm missing all my buttons. The Ravishing.
Man, you see Renee, and it's just crickets for you, eh?
Nope. Ravishing. Renee Paquette backstage with Chris Jericho and Kenny Omega. And Jericho's talking up the history of those two, going from opposite sides of the ring on the first Dynamite to teaming together tonight. And then the camera pans over to reveal Adam Copeland standing next to them. And he says he's proud to be here for the 4th anniversary, hopes to be here for the 8th, the 12th, the 20th. And he shakes Jericho's hand. Then Omega says he was worried when Edge showed up, but he's glad to see him and offers him a hand and a promise of any help he might need. And Copeland tells him to stick it to the Don Callis family. And that's pretty much it. So we go on to our first match of the night, which is our International Championship match, Nick Jackson versus Rey Fenix. Let's cut to the end. Rey Fenix does win by pinfall with a victory roll to retain the championship. And now we move on to something else. So let's stop there. Let's get thoughts. Joe, let's go to you first. Any thoughts on the opening segment with Jericho and Kenny and Adam Copeland, and then what you thought of the match?
It was a lot of Canada in the opening segment. I thought maybe it was going to foreshadow to making more involvement later on, even though it probably wouldn't have made sense for Adam Copeland to be involved with the Jericho, Kenny, Don Callis stuff. But like, I thought maybe, we'll talk about that segment later. I thought maybe that would play a factor into it, but it didn't. So maybe that's something for down the road. The match between Nick and Phoenix. I mean, they know each other so well that it was just more of a. I was watching it and thinking to myself, it was like a game of chicken cardio of like who would get blown up first because it kept going so fast. But I didn't mind it, and I think we all kind of had an idea that the outcome was never really in doubt of who's going to win.
I'd agree with that. Schlong, any thoughts on the opening interview in the match?
Interview was funny. I think you had to get Adam Copeland and Jericho out of the way right off the bat of like acknowledging that these guys know each other very well. They've wrestled each other a bunch. Like, here we are. Kenny was really funny in it because he almost looked like kind of like he was playing like starstruck a bit, which would make sense because he is a Canadian boy and Edge is a Canadian hero. So that was great. Match like Joseph, match was good, but you knew the outcome. So it was kind of like one of those. It was a fun match, but I was never worried about missing a couple seconds of it.
Right. Now here's a question: since you said Adam Copeland is a Canadian hero, if you were a young Canadian boy trying to get into the wrestling business, much like Adam Copeland, who would your Canadian hero have been, and why would it be the Mountie?
Mountie always gets his man.
Boom, there it is. Asian Joe, we don't need an answer. My apologies.
No, he nailed it the first try.
There you go. Moving on, we get footage from Roddy Strong begging Adam Cole for help last week. This is the point of where I'm like, what in the fuck is going on with the audio? And they actually played this again later, but we'll just sort of talk about it here. So basically, Adam Cole is over at Roddy's to help him out last week. And he's on his crutches. He's got to go get, ankle surgery, he says. And he's gifted with one of those scooters that you could ride instead of crutches now. So they show him and Roddy having a bunch of fun rolling around on the floors in his house, while the Kingdom is looking a little perturbed at their close relationship, especially Matt Taven, who is stroking a stuffed giraffe, looking very angry. And then Roddy lets him know that he needs his help moving furniture. And Adam says, well, I'm hurt. I got to have surgery. And Roddy's like, but this is what friends do. And then Adam proceeds to move all of his furniture because the feng shui is off. And then he gets to the end and, he thanks Adam. Adam goes to leave and he sort of stops him. He's like, yeah, I just need one more thing or whatever. And then it sort of ends. So I thought this was a funny bit, but definitely on TBS was all fucked with the audio. So I don't know. It is what it is. They played it again later. I thought it was a funny segment. Now, here's my question for you guys. Do you think, Adam's got his hurt ankle, right? MJF is sort of standing there with these tag titles. Roddy's got his neck injury, but we sort of know, like, hey, Roddy, his neck health is okay. Is there any way that Roddy steps in with MJF and is like, well, I'll step in for Adam, and now Roddy and MJF form a relationship, and that sort of hurts Adam Cole?
That was my prediction for Wrestledream, was that Adam will come out and say, I have found you a partner, and it's Roddy Strong.
That was my prediction for Wrestledream.
Oh, well, look who's here.
But I don't even really remember my predictions because I was at Wrestledream. So just schmoozing.
I think you were.
And who are you to say, look who's here, Anthony, who has not been here in 3 weeks? It is coming in with a glorious tan, I believe. You look great.
We've covered this all already, Kate. I mean, all I can say is I finally got back from buying cigarettes and milk at the corner store. And
Newport's and Burger King, perhaps.
Yeah, and I was here on time tonight. That's all I'm gonna say.
Well, nice of you to show up at all. It's just a pleasure to be in your presence at all, really.
Well, thank you. It feels good to be back in your presence.
Should.
Feels good to be back.
Hi, fellers.
Hi. So we just found out that Ryan stole Kate's prediction.
Ryan had his own prediction. That was his. He didn't.
It was a
He wasn't on
common-
last week. He didn't know that was Kate's prediction.
Pretty common prediction.
Own. His
'Cause it was
own. He thought of it on his own.
Can we
By
check
the-
her out?
By the way, Kate, just as an FYI, we were talking about weird sports before because I watched a lot of weird sports on the boat.
You did?
I watched footy, which is Australian rules football.
Okay.
Which basically makes no fucking sense. And then there was also rugby, which isn't so weird, but it's not common.
Right.
And then they were showing a lot of cricket stuff because that's big in the Caribbean. But I like cricket, so like that's
Cricket's
not weird.
amazing. You
It's
kidding?
awesome.
Cricket rules.
The Cricket World Cup starts today, and I got to get an ESPN Plus login. Anyway, we've talked about this, but we talked about. Joe posed the question, what's the weirdest sport you've ever played, like for pleasure or... Oh, there goes Ryan.
Sick.
He's finally got pushed off the edge.
Can we just say what an upgrade to the show? I come on, huge boost. Ryan leaves, whoo!
Bigger boost.
Definition of a
bigger
hot tag.
YouTube subscribers are going to go way up now. But anyway, Kate, Ryan said... I rode before, and I said, rode what? Horses?
And
And
he
he's like,
went,
no, I rode. And I was like, wow, road and road sounded exactly the same in his dirty South Philly accent.
South.
Road and road.
Road.
Are you done?
How the
Probably not.
I got it. I fixed it.
I mean, let's be real. Probably not. I'm not.
I'd like to point out the way you say road and road sounds the same in your accent. The words sound the same.
No, road versus road. Yeah.
It sounds the same.
Roads. Roads.
They sound the same.
Cody
I'm
Rhodes.
stoned.
Adrenaline.
So we were just talking about the segment tonight that you couldn't fucking hear, and then they replayed later with Roddy Strong and Adam Cole. And I was just talking about how I could see thank you. I could see maybe Roddy and MJF, striking up a friendship, and now Adam's the odd man out. I love this lovers quarrel, love triangle thing that they could get going on. And then Ryan stole your gimmick, and that's about it. So we're all good. Yes, one LT photo. You're right. That was Black Sheep. Well, I don't know if anybody would like to comment on the video segment or on the segment, or else we can move on to our next match, because I heard there were some hot takes on a different program of what comes next.
So this video segment was genius. I'm glad they replayed it. It was TBS's mistake, which is kind of funny, because apparently everyone watching on Fight had no issues hearing it. So I'm glad they replayed it, and it gave them a little bit of an overrun.
Little bit of an overrun? We'll talk about that. My God, what an overrun. I was like, we're going to have to push this show out.
I love the way these are filmed. I'll just say that. Like the dramatic close-ups of Adam Cole's face right before he ever leaves Roderick Strong are impeccably well done, both from the Adam Cole side and from the video side of just it's such a soap opera TV shot. It's so fucking dramatic. I absolutely adore it.
Well, yeah, you have that style, and then you have the Tony Storm, RJ City interviews they shoot, and then you have the avant-garde Darby Allin video stuff they shoot. So it's really quite the mix of production they do, and it's a good tone.
The music in this was perfect too. The song that they had going while they were wheeling around on the floors was just fantastic.
It's excellent.
I also want to point out that I wouldn't expect my friend to move my furniture by himself. That's not what friends do.
I would, but I'm just a feeble little woman, so.
That's right.
That's true.
I know that's right.
Yeah.
Feeble. So feeble. I think
I like to use being a woman to my advantage.
I think Kate towers over me, and she's like, "I'm so weak. I'm so feeble. I'm too
know, I
short to do this." I'm like, I can't grab it.
Meanwhile, she's killed at least 3 guys.
That we know of. She doesn't use condoms.
Look, I like to use it to my advantage. If you haven't noticed, look at her t-shirt sales. I gotta use my femininity to my advantage when possible.
Well, then you'd
But
better.
trust me, we used it too for upping the YouTube subscribers. Don't worry.
I believe it. Did you tell them that my chin would be up and my tits would be out on this channel?
No, but if you really want to hear what we offered up for the 500 subscribers, you'd better go back and listen because it's gonna be a baby.
I do
Okay.
not.
It's not maybe the worst thing that you're thinking, but it's not. We didn't offer anything illicit or illegal.
Was it foot pics?
No.
There's going to be implications, and
listen, buyer beware, caveat emptor, because we never said anything like that would happen.
Subject to change.
I never said anything.
Of course you did it. You're a goddamn gem, Joe.
I'm sorry. Silence is tantamount to
silence is violence.
And if there's anybody who would appreciate that quote, my guess it would be my absolute best friend, Jesse Ozog. Hi, Jesse. I know he's been there. I just like saying hi all the time. So let's move on. We have some more things to get to. Griff Garrison is out for a match.
Who the fuck is Griff Garrison?
I don't know, because this was his 2023 debut.
He was hurt for most of the year.
Yeah, for most of it.
Yeah. Yeah, I know he was hurt, but my God. Who the fuck is Griff Garrison? I don't know, and neither did his opponent, because it was Wardlow, and he came out and absolutely squashed the dog shit out of him. 5 power bombs, referee stopped it, and then he just fucking walked the fuck out. So I'm going to throw it to Kate first, because there were some people in the chat saying that there were some hot takes going on about Wardlow. Kate. Can I hear what those takes were?
Sure. Well, first of all, very excited that Wardlow is back.
Mm-hmm.
I also think it's a little coincidental that Wardlow was back whilst MJF is reassembling mercenaries, maybe. Just an interesting little thing, but I think Wardlow should dethrone MJF if it's not going to be Eddie Kingston at Grand Slam. I've long felt it should be Wardlow because of their history, and the fact that Wardlow has a win over MJF, I think should mean that he has MJF's number a little bit, and I don't think it needs to be like a year-long title reign. He could even hot potato it back to MJF, but I'm just of the belief that if you want him to drop and mean something, Wardlow's the dude to do it.
Not Sean Dean.
Well, Sean Dean, it's almost like embarrassing how dominant Sean Dean is over MJF. But like if MJF drops to Jay White, this is what came up, or if MJF drops to Kenny Omega, like those are all awesome options. But like if you want to pay off everything that you've invested into MJF, I feel like him dropping to Wardlow and then Wardlow dropping it in a couple of months or even hot potatoing it back to MJF is like such a wise move, because they've never resolved the fact that like MJF in real life almost got on a plane on the biggest moment of his career, right? And the other title reigns didn't go well. Like, I think it would be a good thing to do. And on the heels of losing your last homegrown star, it might be good to put your other homegrown star in some compelling creative. And I don't know. I just feel like it would be a great way to pay tribute to the depth of their relationship, because it's kind of the longest running relationship that MJF has. And anybody else logically that I could think MJF might drop it to would probably be people that wouldn't get the most value out of it being MJF to drop it. Like, who else does he have other than Cole, obviously, but like anybody else I feel like is already at his level, and I feel like you put a lot of work into him, you might as well have it pay off to a young star that you can make in the process.
So are you saying that Wardlow is on the level of the devil?
I'm saying he could be.
Ooh.
Saying he could be. Some people are saying Orange Cassidy. I get that too. I get there's people that want Orange Cassidy to be a world champion. OC and MJF just doesn't ring to me as the program for Orange Cassidy to become a champion.
No, I'd agree with that. But it could be fun. This MJF and Orange Cassidy doing something could be fun. Because maybe you see those little tinges of old MJF coming out, having to deal with Orange Cassidy, who's so mellow and blasé. Could be funny. But yeah, I don't see it happening that way. Well, interesting take, Kate. But
Yeah, the host on the other show hated it and wants him to drop to Jay White, which is what kind of came up tonight. Which I don't hate that idea either, but doesn't to me feel like the chess move to play right now.
Yeah, I agree with that. Ryan, any thoughts on seeing Wardlow on television again?
He looked angry. He looked very, very angry.
For a minute, I thought you said hangry.
I did too.
Maybe he was. I don't know how catering was tonight. He might have not. He might have missed his meal. No, I mean, but I say that obviously jokingly, but seriously too. Like they booked him to look angrier than he typically looked previously. Like this was
going heel.
That's what
okay. But if he goes heel, you think a heel Wardlow is the one taking it from MJF?
No, I think he infiltrates, and then they turn on each other.
Maybe.
There are a lot of spoons in the porridge, as some people say. With
that person is a Switchblade fan and clearly would prefer Switchblade win.
Oh, what
that is
fan?
true. Oh wait.
Ha ha ha.
Hold on, you didn't have your Switch comb out either, Mister. Both of you.
Yeah,
are
but I got
over
made fun
there.
of for not having it out, so now I get to mock.
I'm sorry. You know what? I went out for some cigarettes and some milk and some bread, and it is like riding a bike, but I didn't have everything immediately.
Should have brought it with you to protect yourself.
It's illegal to carry it, so I don't. Sorry, what were we talking about?
We were actually talking about Switchblade. Jay White.
Thank you.
I am
So glad
gonna
you
ask
asked.
every time I get worried that you're going to cut yourself.
I'm not. It opens up the right way. It's not some
know, but
weird.
every
funk.
time I get worried that they'll just have a finger in the wrong spot or something.
But finger in the wrong spot's still not going to cut me.
I don't know how it'll happen.
A
I just know
finger
that
in the wrong spot can lead to some devastating consequences, fellas. Okay.
Words of wisdom from Kate. Well, we'll see what happens with Wardlow, but losing to Griff Garrison is not going to be one of them. So we go to commercial and come back with the absolutely stunning Renee Paquette interviewing Don Callis and Takeshita. And Callis says that Sammy Guevara pinning Jericho shook AEW to the foundation so bad that the quack doctor declared Sammy unfit to compete. But there's no shortage of young, eager athletes looking for a chance to be part of the family. So on the advice of one of his friends, Will Ospreay, he reached into the vault and pulled Kyle Fletcher out to team with Takeshita tonight. And he tells Chris, people remember who wins the war, not the battles. And he means to win the war.
I disagree.
Oh, Ryan's disagreeing. He's being a contrarian. Why do you disagree,
Ryan?
You know, we all remember who won battles and wars they lost. Like that is not a thing that you don't remember who won individual battles. We do.
I mean,
If you're a fucking nerd.
that's
with a
right,
history
history
blog.
nerd.
You know what?
Especially a revisionist history blog.
You didn't say the word right. You don't get to make fun of me.
By the way, Kate,
Ryan,
you
if you
said
haven't
revisionist.
noticed,
by the
we're
way,
gonna make fun of you.
Kate, just so you know, I've gotten very political tonight.
Oh, have you?
Yeah.
You went hard right.
Hard right. I support the Second Amendment, the right to bear arms.
Well, I mean, If you got them, flaunt them, right?
And I'm pro guns.
Well,
No.
with two ends?
Bang
Yes.
gangs.
That's fair.
I'm pro
I've
gun.
180'd on them as well.
Kate also just want to make sure
I do support gun control though, because you got to control the guns.
Well, I'm not going to go that far.
They get a little out of control. You need Juice Robinson there to control the guns.
Kate, do you know who this is that I'm pointing to in the background? And not Chino, not Frank, not Chi Chang, R.I.P.
I don't know who that is.
That is Edge Bear. I'm sorry, rated R superstar Adam Copeland Bear.
Copeland Bear.
Yeah, that really is. I can show you later, but
Yes, you will be showing me later. And oh my gosh, I've never seen, because I was at the scrum, I've never seen someone roll their eyes harder than when MJF is going through the roster in the scrum and says Edge, and Tony Khan is like, hey, and he's like, Adam Copeland. Like his eyes rolled around 6 times when he had to correct his name.
I didn't know you were at the scrum. I didn't hear Kate Mark Order podcast. I'm just saying.
Oh well, this podcast didn't pay me, so.
Well, that's why next time there will be $3 in a Venmo account, just so we can get mentioned once and that we can pull a fucking sound clip.
I could probably do that.
Why not? Just one clip. One. That's all I want.
All right.
Is in the scrum, you saying, hi. Oh, wait. Sorry. You could say,
hi, this is Kate from Fightful and the Mark Order podcast. I don't like using condoms, and I know you don't either.
That's not, I wouldn't advise asking that question in the press room.
That sounds like a question about a rubber match.
Boom. Boom.
I'll ask
Winner.
Brian Danielson that next time.
Well done, Joe.
That's why
Brian
he's-
Danielson would absolutely answer that question. He talks about flaccid penises and tree sperm. He would be in.
tree sperm.
Tree sperm.
Clearly.
Apples.
He's eating raw fucking sperm.
Yes.
I know apples are tree sperm. I remember that.
I'm just, maybe not everyone in the chat knows.
Oh, everybody knows, Kate. Everybody knows.
It is
You
what
never forget when you learn that.
Oh boy. All right.
I feel like Edge Bear and Cruise Director Mike would be friends.
They probably would be.
Like besties.
They'd be a special kind of friend.
That reminds me, Kate. I did have a cruise director. His name was Elvis. But it wasn't.
I mean,
it was not an Elvis impersonator. It was a legit guy, cruise director Elvis.
it's like that's such a great name, but there's only one name it could have been. You know what I mean? Like it's not his fault because he has a great cruise director name, but it wasn't cruise director Mike.
I believe he also walked around wearing Elvis glasses.
Okay, now we're talking. Did you renew your vows?
I did not.
That's shameful.
Didn't.
Happy anniversary, by the way.
Thanks.
That's what that was for, right? That cruise.
Yes.
I didn't just make that up.
No. 10th anniversary. 10th anniversary. Okay. We're just gonna move on because I don't remember what we were doing. Butcher and the Blade. Versus the Acclaimed. The Acclaimed win by pinfall. Kip Sabian needs to pin, so they retain the Trios Championship. Yeah. I mean,
duh.
Cool. Does anybody have anything they want to say about this? No, shaking.
I acknowledge that I'm in the minority on this. I would so much rather see Anthony Bowens in a singles run than this right now.
You're not in a minority.
Okay. Yeah, I just am very over the Acclaimed gimmick with Daddy Ass. Like it feels like it should have been like a short-term pop thing. And it's been going on for like a year at these trios belts just weren't the move in my opinion. Like House of Black, it felt like they never utilized the house rules properly, but they felt good and important. Oh my gosh, 4 mediocre rap lines Oh, cool. Mic drop. Oh my God, Anthony Bowens is amazing. Famouser from Billy Gunn. Like it just is so. It's getting boring. It's getting boring, and Bowens is the guy that can. He's the 5-tool player. He really is. Like that guy should be on fire, and these belts should mean something more than they do right now. This just isn't working for me.
No, I don't disagree with you. And I mean, I'd have to go back and look at how long their reign was as tag champions, but they seemed more effective, more over as tag champions than
Big time.
as trios champions. So I almost feel like taking those tag team champion belts off them did a disservice because it just sort of put them back in the mix and like they never sort of came back out. Now they're the trios champs and cool, they've got custom belts and you can get one for like what, 10 G's or 7 G's or whatever.
They should have dropped a TMTK on the pre-show to our friend Bad Dude Tito, whose birthday it is today. Happy birthday, Bad Dude Tito.
I'm not associating with somebody who's bad dude. I'm just going to go out there and say it. I'm a good guy.
Yeah, but he's not bad in that he's evil. He's just a bad dude.
He's bad.
I'm still not going to associate with the bad.
What about the hysterical Shane Haste, who dropped his own beat and sang his own rap?
I mean, I don't know Shane Haste either.
Wow.
Personally, I don't know him.
Okay, well, Bad Dude Tito is the greatest interview in the history of the Shining Wizards because Matt's power went out. So for no other reason.
And then he got
Bad
mixed
Dude
up for
Tito.
Tito Ortiz by some.
What a dummy.
What an idiot.
What an idiot. All right, and then we need to talk about this because this is my.
Oh wait, I do at one point.
Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry, Schlong. Go ahead.
I like the Butcher, I like the Blade, and I like Kip Sabian. I like them all together. My only issue with them in this match is you knew like that they had no chance of winning. Like I would like to see these three actually get some wins under the belt, be someone who's a threat because they're talented, but you don't take them seriously because the only time they get thrown out there is to lose.
You're right. Not gonna.
It felt like a Rampage match we've seen multiple times.
Other way. There you go. Yep.
Spitting truth, Asian Joe. Nice haircut, Asian Joe.
You guys
You look
high
great.
five. High five. Boom. Nice.
I do this. I respect the code of honor. I do this a lot. Honor is real.
Oh no, Ryan fell off the edge. So we go on from this to I had mentioned before, Kate, I have two favorite things happening right now in wrestling that I'm watching. I'm not watching not for any reason besides I don't enjoy it. If people are enjoying it, cool. We talked about that a little bit too. But Christian Cage and the Patriarch gimmick is one of my favorite things I'm watching in wrestling right now. Oh my God. What is this about? What did I miss?
Nothing. I saw it hanging and I wanted to put it on.
Okay.
I had to clean
You
out
just
some old
have
stuff.
one?
I've had this thing for probably 20, 30 years.
It's a fine life. Working at the banner. It's a
It's carrying the banner. Get the lyrics right.
Why
but
is
also,
Ryan a newsie?
Extra. Read all about it.
In Ireland.
Can you wear it backwards like you're Kevin James? Thank you.
It's so close to being Date Mike.
That's right. Hi, I'm Date Mike.
Nice to meet me.
I was cleaning out some old things and it was there and I've hung it up with the rest of my hats and I saw it and I said, you know who would get a laugh out of this? You guys.
It just came out of left field.
Out of nowhere.
It really
Literally just looked up and was like, gotta grab it.
Great question coming in from Kyle K. Sparks. How many papes can you sell, Ryan?
Well, headlines don't sell papes. Newsies sell papes.
Oh.
Answer the question, you coward. How many?
Well, I mean, it depends on what day it is, you know. Sundays I'll sell a little less, but I'll sell I won't eat any. Listen, I'll go on the Newsies rants if we want me to. That is a movie I know back and forth.
I love our podcast so much. You know what? Just for you guys, next time I'm in a media room, I'm only charging you $2.50 over Venmo.
Well,
Faye, are
gotta
you
mention.
there?
Did you want to talk about the show? I'm sorry.
We also learned, by the way, Kate, because I don't know if Ryan's actually singing or if he's just mouthing the words along. Mrs. Money was in the chat before and made a good pun that nobody else could make when we were talking about Edge Bear. She said he's very edgy. And
Ooh.
Ryan and Asian Joe both couldn't find the joke. So Ryan started to do slow clap. Ryan, would you please legitimately do the slow clap? It does not come through his microphone.
Yeah, that didn't. It was just silent.
Make your hands clap.
That's so
Ryan,
weird. It must be a
talk-
setting. It doesn't pick up
All right.
that.
I'll talk and clap at the same time. What are you hearing when I do this?
No clap?
Very. I heard a very distant when you were right in front of the mic.
A very
That's
southern
nuts.
New Jersey person.
That is wild.
That's
Within a
really
hint.
wild, Joe, because I'm from the Midwest. So to hear a Southern New Jersey person, crazy.
Wild. Anyway, let's keep moving forward.
Also,
he was from
real quick,
Ireland.
Jesse Ozak, love Surf Ninjas, furious at the review Kate and Alex gave it, but that's a whole different discussion.
It's not a good movie.
I'm not even gonna lie.
Dude.
I've never seen Surf Ninjas.
Don't waste your time. Unless you're really high, don't waste your time.
I don't know. I'm not gonna watch it.
Let's clap.
Okay. So moving on. This is my
Wait, one last test, and I swear I'm done.
Holy
Can you hear
fuck.
me snap?
Are you snapping? Put it on camera. Nope.
No.
The only reason I asked is the one night I was playing with a cord, and you guys heard me doing that, but you have been unable to hear me snap or clap. I don't get this.
It's picking up a frequency thing, probably.
I'm back to where my cat
All right. We'll stand on your street corner, sell some papes while we talk about
from Ireland. This is an Irish cat from Ireland.
Brian Begora. Just let me get into this next point. This is my second favorite thing going on in wrestling that I'm watching is Tony Storm
Oh, I love Tony Storm.
becoming this unhinged character. This vignette was perfect. She is with RJ City. She doesn't want to talk about how long she's been wrestling. She wants to talk about now. And she grabs RJ City's jacket, like lapels, to talk to him about how he couldn't understand. And he's like, but this is timeless. You're not old, you're timeless. And she says, yes, I'm timeless. And so they tell us that tonight she is debuting Timeless Tony Storm. I will say this, we're going to talk about the match, but I was so fucking amped up after this video. I was like, when are we going to see Tony Storm wrestle? The fact that I had to wait till 9:40 was atrocious.
We should have known what time you were going to watch.
I thought maybe 9:00. Like, I thought maybe they had this, Tony Storm, she's got this big announcement, like make the announcement, get in the ring. We'll talk about the
You thought they were
women's
going to
match.
put her on main event instead of Adam Copeland?
No. I'm not saying, well, she could have. But I'm not saying
yeah.
main event, but move it up in the night. Move
I'm
it
just
up.
glad they didn't get cut for time with the whole snafu. I thought they were going to cut the women's match short.
I agree.
Shorter.
I agree. Anyway, we will circle back to the match, but are we all on board with Timeless Tony Storm?
Yes, and for several reasons. One, it's great. Two, this is a non-title story in the women's division that has been great. She doesn't have a title. She's killing it, and she's featured. Three, the character work is great. Give this woman props for how much she's acclimated her in-ring to this character. Like, how she acts in the ring now is completely different. Tonight with and now a word from our sponsors thing kills me when she threw the commercial like that. I don't think any of these straight gents and the lady gays are gonna have a problem with her grabbing Sky Blue's ass for like a real long time. But like, I got so used to like hard hitting Storm Zero, hip attack Tony Storm. This is such a different in-ring presentation from her. And while all of the character work has been a home run, I don't want that to get lost because it is unbelievable how seamlessly this transformation into this character has happened. From the first promo that she did after she lost her title to being like, what, am I just not a star for you anymore? Am I not enough for you? To where we're at now, completely unhinged, smeared lipstick everywhere, thinking she's too old, but being timeless, talking about her performances. The in-ring has come along right along with that at the same pace. It's been just brilliant character work. And I think we've said a couple times on here, I now understand her and Juice Robinson as a couple because that's got to be the funniest dinner to sit on with those two.
You said unhinged, Kate. So I'm going to do a little selfish plug here because Kate, you asked for it prior to me taking my trip. You said try to get a fit pick, like an outfit pick.
Oh yeah, of course.
I did take fit pics. I would call my attire exactly what Mrs. Money and I were referring to our attire. Our attire leading up to this trip was unhinged.
I love it.
Unhinged cruise wear. So stay tuned. At some point over the weekend, I'm going to put pictures up on my Instagram, probably not Twitter, Instagram.
If you guys don't know, if you're newer to the chat, this man was rocking a dangly during the dangly era of the Good Brothers. He is a fashion icon, right along with the Young Bucks when they had their lampshade heads. Like, unbelievable fashion sense with AntMoney. And I thought, a cruise, what better time than to bust out the fashion? Because if you go on cruises with some people, they just wear like navy blue t-shirts and
what he's wearing now.
You weren't wearing anything spectacular. What are we talking about here?
Can I also just
I
say
look spectacular. I don't need the clothes.
And I don't? Fucking godly in my looks.
Aggressive Irish caveat, Ryan. Calm down. I liked you better when you were just an American.
Kate, I also would like to tell you, I'm very proud of this. Over this trip.
Fuck yeah.
Ryan and Joe already know, but I'm setting my own trend. I am now a chain guy.
Oh, this is the next. I feel like this is a good step for you.
It's a great step. And it worked. It worked great. And I'll say this. I'm going back in the gym. So I went to the gym yesterday and I have much like the Chalkline jackets, they made like pennies, like the jersey pennies. And I wear those to the gym. I have one that's like Hulk Hogan. I have a Macho Madness one. I got the Bam Bam Bigelow. Some of those were dirty because I took them on the boat to work out in. So the only one I had left yesterday was Razor Ramon, which is a great one. I wore the chain to the gym and I'm working out. And I'm sitting there at one point and I'm like, oh, fuck. I look at his thing. He's got like 6 of those thick gold chains on. I'm like, I'm rocking the Razor Ramon. I loved it.
I love that for you. You're a toothpick away, my friend.
So you took a fit pic. Did you take a dick pic?
No.
Also, who works out on a cruise? What the fudge?
This fucking guy does.
Yeah. 3 days. I didn't do 5 only because a couple of those days we were up and off the boat early. You know what, Ryan? It was my vacation. And you know when I worked out on those trips? I got up at fucking 6:30 in the morning. I went and banging.
Why?
Yeah. Got to keep up with it. Listen.
No, you don't. That's a lie. That's a
I'm
lie
not
perpetuated by the skinny people of the world.
I am not one of the goddamn sweat hogs like Tony Nese talks about. I'm on the fucking path. Ryan, I support the right to bear arms.
Why? I don't go to the gym on a cruise.
Good for you. Anyway, just so you know.
I tip my cap to Tony Storm.
Joe, did you want to try and say anything? I'm so sorry.
I'm gonna be honest.
I can't even keep us on the goddamn
When
rails.
I legitimately get a laugh from you guys, and especially Ant when I break them, it's the highlight of my week. Like,
I tried never to let you break me, Ryan. That when I had to.
I also want to point out, Ant, I have said that if I ever get lucky enough to be a history professor, I'm gonna start wearing weird hats. This is the start of the collection.
Ryan, you have to make one promise to me.
Okay.
If you do become a history professor at any level, I'm talking you can even be 6th grade history, right? You need to promise me your every fucking day attire, every season of the year is going to be turtleneck and tweed jacket with
elbow patches.
the leather elbow patches.
So, no,
but
hear me out. I think you and I, when it comes time, we could find me some cooler, because summer months I sweat a lot, some cooler alternatives that fit in that light, that style for professor. Because I'm open to the style in the winter. I will wear turtlenecks in the winter.
How about this? We meet in the middle, and you do Zaddy Christian Cage, a sleeveless turtleneck.
That.
Right, but that's going to require me then to start going to the gym so that when I take it off, I just got fucking cannons and the kids are like, what the fuck is this guy doing?
You can't take the jacket off. You're a professor. You're a man of higher education. You also need a pipe, Ryan, even if you're not going to smoke it. You understand
100%,
that, right?
Yeah. And you're gonna have to get some round glasses.
Guys,
instead of this square
guys,
bullshit.
guys. Jesse wore this hat when he was a professor.
Very on brand.
It's very.
I am. This is so. I want this hat. There's a couple like, those like historian style hats that you see. I'm gonna have them all. Don't worry. I got you and I. We'll coordinate.
I'm sorry. First of all, this is great. I don't know if this has really been dubbed this, but I'm going to give one LT credit on this. He calls that type of turtleneck the cage neck. Love it.
That is good. That's good.
Also, Jesse Ozog makes a great point here. Air conditioning.
Okay, but I'm a sweat hog as defined by Tony Nese.
Air conditioning.
Yeah, if they're willing to keep it at like 65, sure, we got ourselves a deal.
What if it's at 69? Because it'll be nice.
You'll need to sew Kyle Sparks. You'll need to sew patches onto the elbows. We've talked about that. Leather patches on a tweed blazer, not the other way around. That is a great Simpsons reference.
I'd like to point out, Ant, I thank you for reading that, because when I would say so, one of you assholes would start judging me for it. She's right below me. She's judging me for it.
I'm judging you all the time.
Quietly.
Well, your asshole is usually below you.
That's right. It is fantastic though. That I do, Kyle K. Sparks, appreciate that Simpsons reference. For those who don't know it, Homer did sew tweed patches on a leather jacket, and Marge's quote was, "Homer, you sewed leather patches on a tweed jacket. It's supposed to be leather patches on a tweed jacket. You've just ruined 2 perfectly good coats." I fucking love
episode.
it. Fantastic. Wasn't he teaching it like an adults class, like or a marriage class or some shit like that? Fantastic.
I don't know that reference, but I assume it's perfectly cromulent.
What?
Cromulent word?
I said I don't know that reference, but I assume it's perfectly cromulent.
You can't hear, but I'm applauding you.
Did I use it right?
I don't know what cromulent is, but I'll be
It's the word that they made up there. Yes. You can't hear, but I am applauding you.
I will be apoplectic if you use the word incorrectly.
I played ape.
The second time tonight. All right. So let's keep moving on. Video package from Bryan Danielson versus Zack Sabre Jr. Dueling post match. We should have a rematch. Promos. We talked about that. We're all for it.
Dickheads. Let's go.
They did a similar recap with Shane Strickland and Adam Page. Before we find out that Shane and Bryan Danielson, Swerve, that's his name, Shane, but Swerve and Bryan Danielson are going to have a match next week for number 1 contendership of the TNT Championship. We also talked about that in the first half. You can go back and hear some of our thoughts on that. We do get a recap of the Man in the Devil Mask and his goons, I guess, beating down Jay White. Is that correct?
Do you know which Jay White?
Was it the cardboard one?
No. In fact, it was Switchblade. Jay White.
Okay. I stand corrected. And so the Bullet Club Gold, I'm sorry.
Bullet Club.
Gold.
Bang, bang, gang, gang, bang, bang, gang.
Make their entrance. Austin
Look,
Gunn.
I can do those hand signals. do
they use one or two?
What happened? Who gave you caffeine tonight? What is going on?
Don't
with Ryan?
fucking know. I am wired.
Kate, I'm not going to lie. He was like a dead fucking fish before you jumped into this room.
That's not fucking true.
I do that to the people.
Joe, back me up.
It's not untrue.
Oh, yeah. Love it.
The first hour, I was heavily distracted by the Phillies.
Kate, do you know what this is?
You stirring the pot.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
So,
I don't like this pop.
Austin Gunn says it's story time, but they didn't come out to address that soft, brittle, injured one. They want to talk about the short, brown-haired one, and Colton calls MJF the people's douchebag, and they mock him for coming up with Tofu as a nickname for Switchblade. Not going to lie, guys, you're going to have to fill me in on the Tofu thing. Let's get through this first. And he says Max knows he'll suffocate if he tries to breathe with the Switchblade, and that's when rock hard Juice Robinson calls Friedman to the ring, promising that he can wear his little Halloween costume to come and face them like a man. But he's not a man. He's a little itty bitty blood sucking, and that's when MJF comes out. He starts an Ass Boys chant. He calls Juice Tasteless Taint, and he leads the crowd in a dueling chant of those nicknames as the Bang Bang Gang start to do three-way earmuffs, which was very fun. And then he talks about all the things that he's achieved in AEW over the last 4 or 5 years, and says that he's honest and open about everything because he's not just a scumbag. He is our scumbag. And he knows for a fact that he didn't attack their boy Tofu, and says he has an idea, a Stockton street fight right there, right now. So he goes to the ring. They all run, but somebody's behind him. Kate, who's behind him?
Dun.
Who's behind him? Bam. Oh.
Jay White.
Half cocked there. But you get it. Oh boy. Wrong type of pipe, Ryan, but we'll get the right one.
Why is this wrong?
It's just not the right one. I can't explain it. It's not the right
I believe
look.
this is exactly right.
It's not.
Indubitably.
Oh boy.
Did I steal this from the captain because I finally found the captain's pipe? Maybe.
Probably. So Switchblade hits him with the Blade Runner. Jay steals a title belt, and then he puts it on his shoulder, goes up the ramp, and cuts a promo. He says he's a cut above, and that the cheap parlor tricks and games won't work on him. He may have gotten the best of him last week, but he's not fooling anybody, and they're not buying what he's selling. So he calls MJF a slimy, gutless coward and says they need a truly elite champion, and that's not Max. But he's fair, prove him wrong, put it on the line at Full Gear. And he goes to leave with the belt and put the guns up, but Max stops him to accept the challenge. And we are all set. We are going to get the Switchblade. Jay White versus MJF at Full Gear in November. So
that's in 6 weeks.
This is what I was going to actually say something here, because I can't actually believe this far out they're telling us what one of the matches is going to be. They usually do it 6 days before. So I kind of find this refreshing that we know what the title match is going to be, and that perhaps they're going to build to it over the next 6 weeks.
Yeah, I think you got both guns and you got Juice, right? They could all have matches. You could still have issues with Roddy coming into play. So it is nice because they always pull off their pay-per-views, but it's nice to have a more even build. But 6 weeks feels like very far. So we'll see.
You are right. Can you help and explain the whole tofu thing to me?
Sure. In a very long but very good promo last week, MJF said that Jay White was tofu and that his success is predicated on picking up the flavors that of what's around him. And I said, as someone who's recently plant-based, why is tofu catching strays out here? It's very effective, great source of protein, but also I feel like he would normally be like, you're as boring as cardboard, but he can't do that because cardboard is extremely over right now in the form of Cardblade Jade White. So what are you going to do?
Very true.
I support your
Joe, where's
thesis
your
there,
pipe?
Kate.
It's in the other room, I think.
Oh, well, go get it. Okay.
It's okay if
support
it's a
your
glass
thesis,
pipe,
Kate.
Joe.
I am a feeble woman, as we established, and you are scholarly gentlemen with pipe.
His is a sea captain's pipe, though. It's not
This
very.
podcast will end in 4 hours if Ant starts getting in on bits. This is going to be way too long if he starts to go along with it.
This is the pipe, Ryan. It's slightly different. This is the
How
pipe.
much did that pipe cost?
Probably $2 in a Rite Aid.
Okay, I just want to know how much I'm spending for the bit that I will have to embrace. But so again, I support Kate's thesis.
I'm sorry. Jesse Ozog says, Ant has a correct pipe style. Thank you, Jesse.
Hi, Jesse.
I'm not arguing. I actually like Ant's pipe more. This is what I had available. Mine even has some embers burning. But anyway, I support Kate's thesis. However, we have multiple stories going on, as pointed out. You have Next Strong. You have Who Was the Mystery Devils. You have the direct confrontation between MJF and Switchblade. I think they will do a good job of getting us there in 6 weeks. I think there's enough story to carry us. Now, maybe my hypothesis does not prove to be true, but we will test it.
Sounds very pretentious.
Yes.
I don't like this douchey Ryan.
That's what I was going for, Joseph. That's what I was going for.
Joe says pretentious. I say douchebag.
It was either this or I go newsy and start singing again. I let you guys choose.
I'll take that.
Nosy.
Oh my god, guys, we get the gorgeous.
Actually, I want to point out I'm a little disappointed that no one's caught on that I am faking blowing the smoke.
Who doesn't? You have a pipe.
Yeah, I don't think anyone thinks it's a real lit pipe.
No. Like you guys aren't paying. I'm still doing it. Like I'm in.
Did you think maybe we just don't care?
If I had pipe tobacco, this would be
fucking hilarious.
If I had a lead pipe, I would be Riho.
Oh god, you don't want that. It would look awful.
My name is Rio. She dances.
So, as I was saying, the gorgeous Renee Paquette is interviewing Orange Cassidy and Hook backstage. Orange says that they would have been great champions, but Hook is still a great champion because he has a championship. Hook tells him that he deserves a title too, and it should be Orange getting a rematch against Phoenix, not Jon Moxley. Then they eat some chips. Renee declines, and that popped me because Excalibur says Renee only exclusively eats ketchup chips, a very Canadian thing to say. What are we doing with Hook and Orange Cassidy? Because I kind of love it.
I like it. I just don't understand why you wouldn't go back with your best friends. Right?
Like, are we going to get a three-way match with Mox and Phoenix and Orange, or is Orange just going to eventually challenge Hook for the FTW championship?
You mean the same thing that happened with Jungle Boy? Yes, he's back to being a Jungle Boy because he doesn't know how to feel his feelings. I don't know if I like that, Joe. Schlong, you look like you're either going to poop your pants or have something to say.
I'm thinking.
Oh, that's
However,
what that...
maybe. I like that they are getting Orange Cassidy's point across of the fact that he should be in the match, not Mox. He doesn't usually take that kind of approach. I like it. Also, if we remember, Hook was teammates with Danhausen, and Danhausen is part of the best friends. So Hook is kind of like a accessory to the best friends. So it all works.
Do you have a board with threads that you could point that all out on? Because I got lost.
I can't find Pepe Silva. And
There
Carol in
is
HR?
no Carol at HR.
There is no Carol.
This is where all the mail is? Nobody's gotten their mail in like 6 days.
All these people exist, and they've all been looking for their mail. Don't worry. Oh, we've got fired days ago. Threw it in the fire.
What's your spaghetti policy around here?
We move on to Chris Jericho. I'm not no-selling Kate. I'm just trying to keep us moving.
No, I get it.
I did enjoy
Well
it.
played.
Chris Jericho and Kenny Omega versus Takeshita, Kyle Fletcher. We cut to the end, and Chris Jericho and Omega win by pinfall. One Winged Angel and Kyle Fletcher. Don Callis was on commentary talking about what a great chance it is to have new talent and get a look at them. I also enjoyed how when he lost it, he says, "You ruined it for us. You've ruined your chances." And he basically dismissed Kyle Fletcher. Fantastic. Post-match, though, is where the big shit happened because
Powerhouse
Will Hobbs shows up. He attacks Jericho and Omega. Don Callis is smiling. Kenny gets thrown 3 rows into the crowd, into some empty seats. That was pretty impressive. Here are my beefs. This went way too fucking long. Duct tape instead of handcuffs. The duct tape didn't even work. Bush League. I did enjoy Chris Jericho stepping in, though, and doing the good guy hero thing and taking the shot instead of Kenny. But basically, it was a beatdown, and nobody made the save. So, I don't know. Powerhouse Hobbs, part of the Don Callis family. I can get behind that. Ryan, your thoughts?
So,
As a fellow
first of
pipe
all, thank you. Pipe wielders of the world unite. I am a fan of Powerhouse Hobbs as part of the Don Callis family because they didn't know what they were doing with him. At least with Don Callis, he's got a guy who can get him lots of heat, and he's such a killer. That storyline will do wonders for Hobbs because he's made for it. The question I have, and I pose this to all three of you, is Don Callis kind of turned on Kyle Fletcher by the end of that match? Kyle Fletcher is in a group with Will Ospreay. Will Ospreay is part of the Callis family. Does that sow the seeds of dissent?
Aussie.
Ryan still can't. Ryan just disrespecting Dunkzilla Davis with a broken wrist, and he won't do the hand symbol. My God.
I know. Because he can't.
So am I wrong? Does that sow the seeds of dissent?
I mean, I'm going to let Kate and or Joe answer this.
I'll dive in. Yeah, I feel like with Mark Davis out, Kyle Fletcher going into the Callis family makes a lot of sense. So it's either going to be maybe they don't have Will Ospreay as sewn up as they think they do in 6 months from now or whatever. Like maybe they want to break the Ospreay affiliation, or maybe this is going to be Kyle Fletcher's arc while Mark Davis is out, is him trying to earn his way into the Callis family. I really like that idea because Kyle Fletcher is just phenomenal and he deserves to not get lost in the shuffle. And I feel like I could see that happening with him if he doesn't get kind of absorbed somewhere just because the roster is so stacked. I don't love Hobbs joining this just because I felt like it was going to be him and CJ Perry. Like it seemed very clear that there was like dissension between Miro and CJ and they were going to be on opposite sides of things. And that she was going to go manage Hobbs. Like that just felt like the move to me. So if there's a swerve there, I'm all ears for it. But if it's just like they had this weird tease and they're not going to follow through on it, I feel like that's not the greatest. So I don't know. Hobbs in the Callis family office. I don't know what this obsession with having him with like a group is. I feel like he's such a great standalone guy. I'll never understand why he's not with Stokely. Like that just feels like such a perfect pairing. It feels like it feels so much to me like Stokely would be the perfect Gary Hart to him. I don't get it. So I don't hate it because it's not that I don't like the alignment. I just feel like there's better options that they could have for him. And I don't feel like he needs to just be like one of 5 dudes.
I think they see him. I think he's just a big dude who's a heater, right? So you bring him in as muscle, but regardless, I'm sorry. I do have to pause for a moment. That is usually for Jesse Ozog, but this was a big something I saw in the chat. And Ryan, we've already got you once for basically stealing a take from Kate. Kyle K. Spark says, Ryan.
Where is this take, Kyle? I looked at your Twitter just now. It's not there. I think you're stealing my takes.
How dare you, Ryan?
I'm going
You would think a professor who has to go through school and cite his sources wouldn't be so sloppy in his real life.
I can't cite myself. That's just weird. Actually, people do it all the time.
I'd like to see the bibliography, please.
If you were published, you could cite yourself.
That is
exactly right.
A really fun word. Underrated word, bibliography.
Okay. Well,
it is a good word. I have butchered spelling it many times.
It's not that hard.
No, but I type fast and somehow the O always disappears.
Najad. Office Space? No. Sweet.
I got it.
My name is not, it's not that hard. Najad. Najad.
I'm going to answer this in lieu of Kate. Pro Wrestling Podcast. The pipe is because I'm an intellectual. And you should never dance to Nickelback. It's against the rules.
Okay,
That's
well,
right.
see,
You
now
should
you're talking.
you should not never dance to Nickelback. That is right.
You should, however, look at that photograph.
I apologize to Kyle K. Sparks. He did say the take before I did.
Oh, well. Look at what is that? Hold on.
Well.
Oh,
Michael Bolton?
Amazing. Everything. The name was great until that no talent asshat started making music.
I celebrate his entire catalog.
There is just nothing better to me than when he sings "When a Man Loves a Woman."
Bob. Oh man. All right, let's keep this train fucking moving. Backstage again with our goddess Renee Paquette interviewing MJF in the trainer's room. All of a sudden, the Acclaimed are hovering in the background, and Max decides to roll up and give MJF a back rub. And Friedman pops off the table and accuses him of being a weird stalker and runs him off before calling Adam Cole because he just can't do this alone. Unfortunately, it goes to voicemail. And then we go to break. So MJF, not so happy with the brochacho, it seems right now. Also, I haven't been around, so there have been Twitter things going back and forth with Max Caster and MJF. Is that true?
For like years now.
Yeah, it's been ongoing.
I just don't pay attention to Twitter.
Max Caster calls MJF his boyfriend on Twitter.
Oh.
It's actually, I kind of hate it, to be honest. It feels like a little late 90s using homosexuality as a punchline. It's a little cringe.
Quite. Anywho.
I thought they handled it well on TV tonight because MJF was creeped out that he was a stalker, not because he was gay.
That's true.
But on Twitter, it's a little cringy in my opinion. But that's just me.
That's Twitter, baby. I'm sorry. That's X, baby.
That's
X gonna give it to you.
X gonna give it to you. Back from commercial, we get a Samoa Joe vignette. He's talking about how satisfied he is, but he needs to regain the hunger as a champion, and he's coming for that World Heavyweight Championship. Max might have earned his respect, but he's going to learn that when he's hungry, Joe, that is, he's going to eat. So this is why I was saying before, a lot of spoons in the porridge with MJF. He's got Switchblade. He's got Samoa Joe still hanging out there.
Joe!
Oh, God.
You
Wait.
have a title. You have the ROH TV title. Can we just stop pretending ROH doesn't exist? It's breaking
He
my
wants more. He's hungry.
I want more. Well, he should have a protein-filled meal and satiate. But like, if you're hungry for gold, hello, you already have some.
Or go after the ROH World Championship instead.
Yeah, give me Samoa Joe and Eddie Kingston right the fuck now.
Oh, God. Well, anyway.
Also, yeah, Pro Wrestling Podcast pointing out, and I noticed it too. He never lit the cigar. It was an unlit cigar in that vignette.
You look better when things aren't lit.
You know, some people don't light the cigars. They just sort of gnaw on it.
That's weird.
What they do is they open their mouth and they take it all the way down.
Oh, okay. That went in a totally different direction than I thought Ryan was going to go with it, but we'll roll. Next up, we get Sky Blue versus Tony Storm. Sky Blue with different eye makeup tonight. Didn't love it.
Looking like she's really down in the dumps. Really blue.
Looking like Soraya's makeup artist got a hold of her.
Well, she's got the misspit in her eye, so I guess they're doing that.
Yeah, I know. It just was weird. Anyway, Sky Blue versus Timeless Tony Storm. And to Kate's point before, fantastic. At one point, she does that hip attack off the ropes and then looks into the camera and says, "We'll be right back after this word from our valued sponsors," or some shit like that. And then before they go to commercial, I think she said something about slapping her, Sky Blue in the titties, which was fantastic. Cutting to the end, Tony Storm does win by pinfall with the Storm Zero. And we move on. I fucking love Timeless Tony Storm. One, the new intro with the old-timey movie thing. Fantastic. Also love the fucking fact that her makeup is all smeared and wrecked. Love it. All. Give me more of it. I love it.
The way she walks out and like interacts, it's just amazing. Between her and Athena, like AEW has women just doing amazing work. They just gotta give them time. Now, obviously, Tony Storm's getting plenty of time, and like Kate pointed out, she's changed. Was it Kate or Ann? I don't remember which one you pointed out that she's changed her in-ring style to fit this new.
Nice
What?
of you to care who you were ripping off. That's all. This is
I
nice.
don't give a
It's
shit.
nice of you to
I
pretend.
don't give a shit.
It wasn't me because I haven't been here. I was out getting cigarettes and fucking milk, man.
But you would have seen it tonight. Like she hasn't been timeless long, so you would have only seen it really tonight. That she's changing her style to fit this new character. I wonder how she knew when they were going to commercial.
I mean, probably the referee was like, "We're going to commercial."
That part, yeah.
Paul Turner probably tipped her
theories.
off. Oh boy.
The zooming from my close up and the camera zooming out and then back in was hysterical. This is so good. She's throwing shoes during, was it Collision or a pay-per-view? I can't even remember. We've had 3 pay-per-views in a month. It's just perfect. It's just brilliant. And what I love is that it came out of the title loss. Like this all came from somewhere. It wasn't just like, you're a different person now. Like we've seen it. We saw her snap and we've seen her grow more and more unhinged each week. And in ring, it was perfectly fine too. Like Sky Blue was fine. But the story here is Tony Storm, right? Like it's just unbelievable. So I adored it. It's really refreshing to have this because it's so different than anything else going on in the AEW women's division or pretty much all of wrestling. So it just fucking rules.
Joseph, anything to add?
No, I think all the points are taken up.
Joe, demand screen time.
I'm not
You're a
timeless.
star, Joe.
You're
Joe,
timeless.
you are so timeless.
You're timeless and limitless.
You are Tony Lee.
And Samoan. You're Samoan Tony Lee.
Sure.
Okay, guys. After this, they hype up the cards for the next few shows, but the big thing everybody's been waiting for, Shivani in the ring to introduce and interview the rated R superstar. You think you know him. It is Adam Copeland.
Edge Bear.
And everybody, what?
Edge Bear?
On this day, he's an Edge Bear.
Wow. So he makes his entrance. Tony welcomes into AEW. Copeland says Shivani's voice was the soundtrack to his childhood. It's a big deal to be sharing the ring with him. He loves him, but he's in the ring now, so hit the bricks. It was fun. It was just fun to see him say that. Also, it's fun to see everybody say to Shivani, "You were the voice of my childhood." And I believe that came from what happened when. Like, I think early on, Conrad might have said something like, "You're the voice of, our childhood." Like, we were listening to you, and I think everybody's just fucking rolled with it. So it's been really fun. Anywho,
it's the voice of my childhood.
I know you were a WCW guy. WCW. But Adam says he came out here to talk to all of us. He wants to rewind back to 2011 when he was told he could never wrestle again. But here we are now in 2023. He's standing in an AEW ring, and there's a few reasons he came here. He'll save the biggest for last. He doesn't know about us. He's pretty sure the AEW World Championship would look good around his waist. There's a whole roster of first-time matches for him here. And he said, think about it, basically. Adam Copeland versus Jon Moxley versus Omega, Miro.
Powerhouse.
Will Hobbs versus the Switchblade, Jay White. Look, I've got them all ready. Even Juice Robinson. Those are all great reasons to be here and to challenge himself to somehow to do something new after 31 years of a career in the ring. And he said it before, and this will be the last time he says it. The main reason he came to AEW is he sat down with his family, with his daughters, Lyric and Ruby, and asked them what he should do. Should he retire? And Lyric, 9 years old, said he should go have fun with Uncle Jay. And he said, speaking of Uncle Jay, or as we call him, Christian Cage, he wanted to call him down to the ring to tell him the reason that he's here. So we wait, and then Christian's music hits, and he does make his way to the ring. Christian, also doing some of the best work of his career, stands there with a sneer on his face, looking like his shit doesn't stink. And Adam says that it was in this industry that they realized they'd be friends for life. And he's sure that Cage is wondering why he attacked Nick Wayne and Luchasaurus, and it's because he sees him out here with his face pursed, and he still loves him. And he saw Cole standing over Sting, a guy whose poster Christian took to the barber so she'd cut his hair the same way. Christian was Sting, Adam was Lex Luger, and there's Christian standing over a man who's made people feel good for 4 decades. His wife's grandparents couldn't even speak English, but they loved Sting. And he couldn't stand and watch Cage smash Sting with a concerto. But also, he did it because he knows Luchasaurus and Nick Wayne are going to drop him like a bad habit the second they suck all the information out of his head. And he's got too much of an ego to see it, but it's going to happen. And furthermore, he says he's there because it's time. For the first time since 2011, for the first time properly in over 20 years, it's time for them to team together again to face a team like FTR or the Young Bucks, to show an entire generation of fans why they are inarguably one of the greatest tag teams of all time. So he's there, hat in hand, like Ryan, asking Christian to end their careers together as a team and show them all what they can do. Cage looks to, please, sir, can I have some more? So Christian looks around a little conflicted, crowd chanting one more time. He reaches for the mic. Adam gives it to him. Then they hug. Christian raises the mic to his mouth and it gets bleeped on TV, but he said, "Go fuck yourself," in the middle of the hug.
Rated R, baby.
That's right. Cage leaves as he's getting booed, while Adam Copeland is sort of shell-shocked in the ring. And on the stage, Cage speaks again and says, before he goes, just a quick reminder of what he'll be up against on Dynamite next Tuesday. That's when Luchasaurus enters. Nick Wayne follows behind him, looking like one of the Cosby kids in a Coogee sweater. And they stand there while Adam is basically scratching his head, looking on, not really understanding what's happening. And that is the show. So, folks, my question to you, Joe, I'm going to you first. I don't want anybody stealing all the points on you, and Ryan will steal all of them. He's done it over and over again tonight.
Every day.
Don't let the pipe fool you. Did this explanation, I don't want to call it hype. Like he said, Sunday, I'll tell you why I'm here. But did this live up to the expectation? Like, is this a good reason to be like, hey, I'm here so that we can end our career together? Clearly, that's not going to happen at this point in time. But does this satisfy your desire for why he's there?
I guess maybe depending on what lens you're looking through. It depending on if you're an older fan or a newer fan. If you're a fan of Edge and since he came back after retirement, or if you're a fan around our age whose nostalgia is for Edge and Christian from back in the day. I mean, it's a fine reason to come back and want to reunite with your former tag team partner and best friends. That makes logical sense. I wasn't really I felt like the promo was just a rehash of the scrum. So I know people obviously don't watch the scrum all the time, but I mean, it's pretty much word for word the same thing.
On it.
What's that?
They do when I'm on it.
I'm trying to think, did you ask your question to him?
I didn't ask him a question.
But no, I felt like it was word for word, basically the same thing. So it didn't do that much for me as far as the promo goes. But
this is why we don't let him have any of the points.
What?
That's why we don't let him have any of the points. He's so negative.
He is not. Don't do that to Joe. Joe, I'm sorry.
No, I'm just saying. Even though all that said, I'm still happy that they are jumping in with the Christian angle right away instead of not steering away from the elephant in the room. So I'm glad they're not waiting to pay that off.
Okay. I'm okay with that. Ryan, I want to go to you next so that you can't steal any points except for maybe what Joe has already said.
I was trying to mimic Joe word for word, but I don't know if it would come across, so I'm not going to do it. But I liked the promo. He had to establish why, people were like, Kate, you seem shocked, and I don't know why.
I'm stunned because you're so sweet on this, and normally you're so negative on things.
I'm a sweetheart. What can I say? But don't yuck me, you dick.
Sorry, I thought I was muted.
He had to establish why he arrived because people are like, "Why would you leave the company?" Even if you're not one of those weirdos who are being, Kate's laughing at me.
She's laughing at me. You missed everything I was doing.
I'm not looking at you. Yeah, I liked it, and I like to go fuck yourself at the end. I'm just gonna leave it there. Fuck you guys.
Okay, so we can go fuck ourselves. Kate, what do you think? He left you plenty of points.
He did. I feel like we throw the floor to these amateurs. They got Mr. Negatory over here and Mr. I like to go fuck yourself. Let's break it down with some actual analysis here. Even a feeble woman like myself.
That's right. A
can chime in.
feeble-minded, poor-boned woman.
Yeah, but I'm MJF's pores. I liked it, and here's why. And it's more than just the go fuck yourself line.
Mm-hmm.
I liked a few things. One, he said he was coming back for Christian, but he didn't say that was the only reason he was here, right? He mentioned talent he wants to face. He mentioned the world title. I like that he acknowledged why he stopped Christian from doing what he was about to do. And it wasn't like I hate you because I'm on these guys' side. It's like, I wanted you to be the guy that I know you really are. And that was my tag team partner, and we should rip it up in this last stage of our career. I liked him referring to the stuff at the scrum because I felt like it was kind of blurring on screen and real life. And I liked him calling him Jay instead of Christian, because I feel like normally you get these things where it has to be built to that level of personal. On the other show, I gave the example of like when CM Punk was like, this is Phil Brooks talking to Paul Levesque. It was like, whoa, like shit got personal, and you had to build to that. Because they have such a storied history, you can do that in this first promo and get away with it, of just like, I'm calling you by your name because it's personal right now because we have decades of history together. So I really liked it. And I thought he did a really good job of weaving all of these things that ultimately led to Christian getting even more heat than he already had, of like naming all their iconic stuff and saying that he came here to be his friend. Like all of that is a softball to Christian with this go fuck yourself line and the next step in the feud. My only complaint with it is, if you're trying to get more eyes on your product, which I don't give a shit because I'm just here to watch it, right? But from their perspective, if you're trying to get eyes on the product and a bunch of people just tuned in to see Edge, Adam Copeland, I'm fighting a dinosaur is not like maybe the most I'm going to stick around for this feud. I think that's why they had the spot with Jericho and Omega earlier, to be like, oh my God, he's around with all these guys, right? Like he's around with Jericho and Canada, because we had Renee and Kenny there. It was a big Canada moment. But I don't know if I'm tuning in for the first time, if I'm like, he's going to fight a dinosaur. Cool. If that's the thing that gets me to tune in next week. But as someone that follows the product, it makes perfect sense with the story. And I have no complaints about it. So that was my only kind of nitpick, but I thought it was really good because I don't have a fucking bad attitude like Joe. Bad dude Joseph.
That's true.
You and Tito can go be besties.
Okay. I do have to say, I'm sorry. I want to point out, Jesse Ozog, it's not that Kate doesn't like dinosaurs. She has said numerous times off the air that she doesn't believe they've existed. She also believes that the world is flat. But we all know she has said it. She's a feeble-minded woman with poor bone structure.
Yeah,
so
Australia is not real. The earth is flat.
that's right. You'd fucking fall off the edge.
Yeah, of course.
You'd fall off the
Adam Copeland.
air.
That's fair.
Go ahead, Joe. Sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, you say Australia is not real?
Yeah, that's something flat earthers believe, apparently.
Yeah. I'm just saying. I'm just wondering, like,
I don't know the thought process. I just know that they're staged actors, I think, is what the documentary said.
No, I'm just going to say my bad attitude comes from the fact that I'm from, Bass Street, USA.
Story tracks.
So.
Story tracks.
By the way, if you haven't seen the documentary that Kate referenced, I believe you're speaking about Beyond the Curve.
I believe that's what it was called. Yes, I watched it with my sister.
Fucking check it out. It is awesome. That guy just wanted to fuck that chick so bad, and she wasn't having any part of it.
Spoiler alert.
I mean, it's not a spoiler. It's fucking apparent. Like, very clear. All right. So that's Dynamite. I know I said it when we started, Kate, before you were here. I thought it was kind of a mid episode with good parts sprinkled into it. But for a 4th anniversary, it really didn't seem like it was very together. So we'll see. Edge's debut, Adam Copeland's in-ring debut next week. He will also be appearing on Collision. So tune in and check it out. A couple extra news and notes just to wrap things up. Some quick things. You guys might know our pal Doc Mueller over at Bleacher Report. Apparently, he not only fixes app and streaming problems, but he did confirm that the line, "You think you know him," was Beth Phoenix, and that they recorded the clip themselves. So that's one.
Why do you think he knew they recorded the clip themselves? Because he probably had to set them up on the tech side of things.
Probably, but if I know anything about Doc and the Bleacher Report technology, it will freeze and not work for like 15 minutes. Usually.
Yeah, no,
for
you're right.
most people. I've been very lucky lately. I hope he doesn't cut my service.
Not coming.
So there you go. The other thing is some pretty interesting things. Adam Copeland did speak to Sports Illustrated Justin Barrasso, and he spoke about New Japan Pro Wrestling. He said, I never wrestled at Wrestle Kingdom. I've never wrestled at Tokyo Dome. How about a match against Okada? That would be pretty cool. I'm pretty excited by that. So I just throw that out there because isn't it wild that in 2023 we're hearing fucking Edge, the rated R superstar Adam Copeland, saying the goddamn name Okada? My God, what a time to be alive.
Fucking truly insane.
What a time to be alive.
Oh my God.
It also came up. There is maybe a possibility of us seeing one of the Bellas come out of retirement. Last week in one of her Instagram stories, Brie answered a fan question about wrestling again with a caption that read, I will, waiting for Buddy to grow a little more. The great thing is there's so many companies with great opponents. I'd love to wrestle Saray again. Britt Baker. Love to go wrestle Trin, who is the current Knockouts champion, Trinity or Naomi. Can't wait to see her and Mickey in action, Mickey James. First on my list is the Iconics. Wrestle them in Australia would be amazing. So sounds like she's interested in coming back. And then Danielson was asked about it in the media scrum. And he said, I will never say never, but she puts stuff on Instagram that I don't even know. Sometimes people will say like, oh my gosh, that picture of your kids is adorable. And I'm saying, what picture are you talking about? And they'll show them to me. And I haven't even seen the pictures. She hasn't sent me the picture. So I'll say this, Brie is the boss in our family. If she wants to come do it, it'll get done. So it's a never say never moment. We'll see.
I'd be more interested in the other thing that came out of the scrum in that regard, which is that Beth Phoenix could possibly do it. My goodness.
We did touch on that briefly, I think, before in the first hour. Go back and listen, Kate, like everybody else should if they missed the first half of the show.
Of course.
Some other news that came out, we had briefly talked about the other talent that has moved on from AEW, Jade Cargill. Some other notes came out about sort of what happened and how she sort of got away. Tony Khan actually opened up and talked about it a little bit. He said he knew Jade's contract had been ticking down and we were talking about a new contract. I was very interested in Jade coming back and we were having a negotiation. I made a very big offer and I thought it was a very fair offer. I think she was considering it. And then she asked for a bigger offer. And then I went up again and I kind of thought that was going to do it. And then it didn't, which to be honest, I was surprised because I came up a number higher. I came up to a number that was higher than her original ask. So I don't know what I would have had to do at that point. So I was a little surprised, but I did really hope that Jade would be back. I think I tried to handle it when we were down to the nitty gritty and we were down to the final couple weeks and we still hadn't agreed to something. Then it was at the point where I said, well, if you aren't going to stay, I want to give you the best possible exit. So he talks about basically how, you know, he respects, you know, wrestlers who are leaving and giving them a good exit, sort of like Ric Flair got and stuff like that. So it seems like there's no bad blood. She just went with a deal that I guess was better than he thought, but I don't know. You would think maybe at a certain point, you'd know she's leveraging your offer to maybe something that's better. I don't know.
Every man's got a price, right?
Well, if you're basically calling Jade a man, then I guess so, Kate. Boy,
I meant Tony.
why did he doesn't have a price? He
has a breaking point, right?
Didn't sound like he had a breaking point. Sounds like he went pretty high. I don't know. Kate, Eddie Kingston
Partner
is booked for New Japan's return to the United States. He's going to put his New Japan title on the line against Hanare in Las Vegas next month. Hanare lost to Eddie during block action of the G1 tournament. And now he's going to have to defend his title against Hanare. So it is going down next month, October 28th in Las Vegas. Strong Openweight Championship, Eddie Kingston versus Hanare. We're also going to get Strong Women's Championship, Julia versus Hyan. So should be a pretty good card. Kate's definitely going to check it out because it's Eddie Kingston Patna.
That is correct.
We already talked about Zack Sabre Jr. and Danielson. Kate, I just want to ask you because you were there and also I didn't get your take. Did that match live up to the hype?
My God. Yeah. I didn't think I'd ever see a day where like a crowd in America popped for technical wrestling, but they did. Like it was very kind of felt similar to Danielson and Okada in that you were like, I am aware I'm watching a masterpiece right now. If you like technical wrestling, it's the most for you match in the world. Like there's not a single move that is wasted. And I watched it on the plane ride back because those matches I feel like are always better on the rewatch. And commentary did a really good job with it. But like those two just went to the fucking mat. And then for it to end with the punctuation mark of Bryan Danielson needed to like use a non-technical move to beat Zack Sabre Jr. being the thing that left the door open for a rematch was fucking brilliant. Danielson's response to my question, I thought like said it all really perfectly of like he was in the ring and like and at certain moments was just like so in it and violent and wrestling and being the character. And then at other moments was just like in awe genuinely of what Zack Sabre Jr. was doing to him. I feel like they should run it back as a submission match so that Danielson can't resort to those tactics. But like, I don't think I ever saw an American crowd like when Danielson hit the Regal suplex, people were just like, holy fuck, right? Like it was as layered and nuanced and perfect as it should have been. And I'm very excited that we're going to get to see it again. I'm wondering if that's Danielson's like, hey, I'm not a full-time wrestler match. Like if that's going to be like a passing of the torch moment and he'll go to his less intense schedule. But incredible. Absolutely incredible.
Kid,
that reverse dragon screw. They just said it in the chat was like, ugh.
I do have to ask you two questions that we addressed earlier. The first question being, did Danielson get out wrestled by Zack Sabre Jr.?
Yes, and I think if you ask Danielson would tell you the same thing.
Okay, so that's great because it totally goes against what Ryan said. And here's the second.
That's the story, I think, is that he needed to resort to knocking him out.
Hey, listen, I'm just telling you, you chose the right side. And here's the second question. Would either one of these gentlemen even be close to ever out wrestling Zack Sabre Sr.?
That's a tough one because he was obviously a legend. I just think because Zack Sabre Sr.'s career got cut so short, obviously because of his injuries, we'll never know what the full extent of Zack Sabre Sr. was, but a legend in the business. Ask me again in 5 years from now. You know, I think it's going to be one of those types of things.
It's the wrong answer, Kate. I'm sorry. The right answer was nobody can go after the senior.
Nobody can lace up the boots of Zack Sabre Sr.
It's just the senior. Fucking don't fuck with the senior. Well, folks, that's all I got unless either one of anybody else has anything they want to discuss. Ryan's over this. He's tired of being berated. Kate, thank you so much for that.
You're so welcome.
Not
Joe,
beret. It's a music cap. It's not beret.
Oh, yes. You're No, we don't hear it, Ryan. I know you're.
It almost makes it seem like Ryan's doing something wrong. You know what I mean? Like he's like, "Oh, sweet Ryan, he's trying."
Can't get the hand gestures.
Almost
Can't
like,
clap, can't snap. He just can't do it. Ryan is making noise for those of you who are listening in audio form, but his mic is not picking up all of his hand claps and or snaps. Ryan, I thought maybe I heard a clap there for a second.
No, I was doing that. That was probably me.
Oh, okay. Ryan, what if you put your hands next to the mic and you rub them together? Like I think first, Ryan, wait. Can you guys hear it if I do this?
Yes.
Okay. Try that, Ryan.
No, and you're doing it so furiously.
I know, like he's trying to start a fire in his palms.
What a letdown.
Oh God. All right, folks. If nobody's got anything else, let's do the plugs on the way out. I'm gonna go to Ryan first. Ryan.
You can follow me at Mark Order Pod on Twitter because I run that. Just don't be a
dickhead.
And we can have some fun. You can also follow my history blog that is not revisionist, hereforhistory.com or _hereforhistory on Twitter. It's not revisionist, no matter what Ant says. Also, I am pushing
whitewashed.
I am pushing us to get to the 500 subscriptions on YouTube. So if you are not subscribed, please subscribe. I will be very annoying about that for a while until we hit the number. So if you don't want me to be annoying, just do what I ask, bitch ass.
Oh my God. Can I also just say for us here, the way Ryan said, don't be a dickhead and we can have some fun sounded like something you would put in a Craigslist, personal. So I enjoyed it.
It'll be a different reference to it, but we'll go from there.
Okay. I'm going to go to Asian Joe next because Asian Joe was also on time tonight. Go ahead, Asian Joe.
Find me on the socials at _Asian Joe, and in my bios you'll find a link to a blog that's not about history. It's about cereal.
More important stuff. That's
right. I'm a little behind on that, so I need to do a couple reviews. But yeah, if you like weird cereal, that's what I talked about on there.
Check it out. Support Asian Joe's cereal blog. You don't need whitewashed revisionist history. You need to know about cereal. Double freedom rockets from Ryan. All right, Kate, it's your turn.
So you can support cereal blogs, but you could also support women by subscribing to his podcast.
Oh, we're there. I thought you were doing t-shirts. I'm sorry.
I know. Clearly, you were with the amateurs. I'm a professional. As I step back in. No. I got it. I left you for the first hour.
She's a professional.
I am.
It's a whole different kind of professional.
I'm a pro who comes on here.
The oldest profession.
And gets.
Okay, I'll give you that.
Which you can read about on a history blog that is revisionist. I'm sure there's all sorts of misogynistic themes in there, as well as whitewashing. But more importantly, you can follow me at Miss Kate Fabe. I'll also just add, I know I didn't get to talk about Wrestledream, but just like a home run of an event. These combined shows with New Japan are unbelievable. The pop for Edge was unreal. Really, 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 really fun stuff. Really healthy and great experience all around. Follow me at Miss Kate Fabe on Twitter and TikTok. You can follow me on Instagram at Katestagrams. Find me on Fightful Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday. Wednesdays here at the Mark Order Podcast, and back up at Excite Wrestling in a couple weeks. And I will let you guys know when we can reverse engineer a silly word onto that. I forget the date. But
was I having a fever dream? Did I think at one point you said that Excite was going to be coming down this way?
There's talks of them doing a couple of shows in Jersey, but they're no longer at the Oakdale Mall. So they're just in the Horseheads location, actually, by Jesse Ozog. Hi, Jesse.
But if they come to Jersey, we can go.
There's talk of running Ridgefield Park. I will let you know if that happens.
Oh my God. Can we do a run-in?
Probably. I have way more freedom there than I should. So
I don't know how to take any bumps, but I will take a bump.
Yeah, you don't. It's an
I will
indie
not.
wrestling show. Half the people on the card probably don't. It's fine.
Come on. Even Asian Joe said he'll fly out.
Oh no, I'll go. I'm not taking a bump. I'm a no selling son of a bitch.
No. Ryan won't take any bumps.
Just key bumps.
Yeah, no, he'll just do a big guy spot. Nobody will take him out at the knees.
He's going to do a couple key bumps and go skiing down some white slopes, if you understand.
Are you saying I'm going to do cocaine?
Yes.
Settle as a freight train. As usual.
Christ. No selling son of a bitch. Follow us at Mark or well, first of all, again, I'm going to do a selfish plug. Follow me on Instagram at AntMoney247. At some point this weekend, I'm putting up some pictures of the trip, of my fits, as Kate requested.
Yes.
But also, I just haven't put up any pictures of my trip since I got back. So take a look out for that. But more importantly, follow the Mark Order podcast on our socials at Mark Order Pod on X, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, all those places. Follows, subscribes, likes, all that stuff helps us out greatly, more than you could think. So give us a follow, mute us, I don't care, but help us out. Thank you to everybody who watched along live tonight, especially I'm just gonna say it. Maybe just our favorite, Jesse Ozog. Hi, Jesse. How you doing? But also everybody else who we love. 1LT Photo, Tommy, who's hanging out on Facebook, Scott George, Pedro checked in, Kyle K. Sparks, of course, the Pro Wrestling Podcast, and anybody else who checked in. Gordon Post was here for a little bit. Anybody else who checked in who I can't get to by scrolling all the way back. But thank you so much for checking us out. If you're listening in podcast format, we do appreciate that too. We love you guys for doing that. Just make sure if you're listening in podcast form, subscribe, like, rate, review. That stuff helps us out immensely to pop up in the algos, as the kids say. We are, as Ryan said, trying to get our YouTube subscriptions up to 500. So if you could head on over to YouTube, if you listen in podcast form, head over to YouTube, subscribe, check us out in video format. You could see Ryan's hat and pipe, which he is saying is all part of his professor gimmick. But he needs a different hat, different pipe.
The hat stays.
No, I've got a better idea for a hat. You ever see Back to School?
I have.
I mean, that guy's professor hat. I think it was basically like the same style fedora. Or maybe we get you guys, Kate and Asian Joe. I'm sorry to divert here. Kate and Asian Joe, think about this. Sherlock Holmes hat.
Thought about it. I'm in.
Joe?
I don't hate it. Yeah.
Oh, Ryan, that's it. Sherlock Holmes hat. The pipe. You got to get a pipe like this one, two-tone, different shape. You'll be great. But head you over to YouTube and check that out in all of our prior videos and our bonus episodes. And definitely subscribe. That helps us out greatly on YouTube. Kate, maybe the most important thing people can do to help support us.
I know.
What would that be?
They can go to ProWrestlingTees.com to the Mark Order store, and they can buy one of these 4 stunning designs. And they can not only support this podcast, but they can support me, who is on this podcast and is a woman. So if you think I should have the right to vote, and if you think that I deserve health access to the highest extent of the law, you should go over here and you should buy all 4 of them, because you never know. All right. We're in a scary time. Our rights are hanging in the balance, and it's all because you haven't bought a shirt here at the Mark Order Podcast Pro Wrestling Tee store. The double-sided one is the coolest. The one with the pocket thing. You should get that one. But you should buy all of them. And then you should buy all of them again a size up, because you might put on a couple pounds in the fall and winter season.
And a size down in case you lose a couple.
True.
Exactly.
True.
So go to the Mark Order podcast store on ProWrestlingTees.com and pick up all of the t-shirts in 3 different sizes.
That is right. Pick up as many t-shirts as you like.
At a minimum of 12. Yes.
That's right. And as Kate said, you can go over to ProWrestlingTees.com, search for the Mark Order Podcast. You can also go to ProWrestlingTees.com/MarkOrderPod. Then you don't have to search for anything. Or even better, just go to the link tree in our social and the button is there. One click, you're there on your phone. I know you guys, all you kids out there are just doing, the Apple Wallet, the Google Wallet, where you don't even have to pull out your credit card to order it. Just get the fucking t-shirt. You want it. You want to be cool like 1LT Photo, who wouldn't let me send him a shirt. He wanted to, buy one on his own, even though he got a sign on TV. And I told him, I'll get you the one because you did it. My God. Jesse Ozog, how many gold chains does it take to make a cage neck? It doesn't matter. I can afford the amount. So it'll happen at some point. Either way, we appreciate everybody for listening. Tune in next week. We are going to be on, I'm just making the decision now. We're going to be on Tuesday after the show because Wednesday night doesn't make sense for us to be on. It's already old at that point, right? We got to be right here on time. Kate's not going to be here because she's a weirdo and has to watch something else. But we'll be here. I'll be here. Asian Joe, you'll be here, right?
Unless I go to the show.
What?
It's only 2 hours away, 2.5 hours. I could drive it.
If you go to the show, that'd be fantastic. You'll have a great time. Schlong, you'll be here, right?
Indubitably.
Thank God. I was hoping he was going to say it, and he did it. Ryan, you don't let me down as much as you think you do, but it's still a lot. But that time you did.
But it's still a lot.
It's still a lot.
But not that time.
Not
That is
that time.
progress in the right direction, my friends.
Guys, I'm so happy to be back. It was a long trip to get cigarettes and bread. And happy to be back. Lovely to see your faces. Lovely to see everybody still in the chat hanging out. And we'll be back next week on a special Tuesday edition. Of the Mark Order Podcast.
This concludes the Mark Order Podcast. We now return you to your regularly scheduled programming. Join the Mark Order.